Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi out here. It's Friday morning, and we're doing a reaction to a game last night and also previewing a game tonight on our last back-to-back of this 2024-2025 season. We played the Blazers last night and lost, and we're going to play the Pistons tonight at Scotiabank Arena, two home and home. It's kind of crazy. We got these home and home games for the last back-to-back. It's kind of an easy back-to-back, but it looks like we're probably going to lose both games. But it is what it is. And in some ways, that's helpful to what we've got to do right now. So, yeah, I'm not totally upset about it. So it is what it is. All right. So we'll do, first of all, we'll go ahead and look at the stuff for tonight. And then we'll come back around and we'll react to the Blazers game last night. So, yeah, let's get right into it. Latest lineup news for Raptors versus Pistons here in Toronto tonight on a Friday night. And then we'll talk about how the Raptors played the Trailblazers last night. All right, so let's go look at the latest lineup news first. We're talking about the Raptors first. Now, this hasn't not been updated for today yet, but I'm going to tell you that this is going to be kind of where it's at. I can kind of tell. I was wrong about Scotty yesterday. Scotty did play in the game against the Blazers, albeit he didn't play a whole lot, and he didn't play. He had trouble, and so he's not going to play tonight, guys, especially since Darko revealed after the game that Scotty's hand has been bugging him for 2 months. This is something that we've talked about this week, and that he's having a hard time shooting. And that part of the reason why Scotty's shooting percentage has gone down recently is the hand injury on the down low that he's been playing with through with it, Now, the one thing we would say, some people are critical if he's hurt. Well, why is he playing like the other guys are? Well, he's saying, like, this is Scott's quote himself. It's a lot when I'm shooting. It hurts at times. And then in games, it gets hit and it hurts more than it usually hurts. But, it's a pretty daily thing. It's not a risk of hurting it more, nothing crazy. But when it gets hit, it takes a minute or two to calm down. And my legs work perfectly fine. So I'm ready to go on out there. So, Scotty, look, we know Scott has a goal to meet the 65 games. Scotty decided this after early injury trouble this season. He missed a good part of the season because of Jokic putting an elbow to his eye right at the beginning of the season. And he had 2 stints where he was out for injury, and it ate up a bunch of those games where he could afford to not play if he was hurt, because he was hurt. Well, he hurt his hand, and I saw the moments when he's hit his hand. You see him in the game holding his hand like this every once in a while, like that. Now, I get it. Some people may be worried that he could hurt it further, but he's saying here that Dr. McKechnie and the health staff of the Raptors are saying he can't hurt it any further, and if he wants to play, he can play. I feel like he's being old school with this, that it's not an injury that is not allowing him to play, so he's playing hurt. And there's nothing wrong with that, because players did this for years and years and years in their career. And you think Scotty's going to go out there and play hurt if it's going to jeopardize him playing in the future? No. So it's a weird situation. Some people are going to game it the way that they want to be negative about the team and their decisions either way. Either they'll say Scotty shouldn't be out there because he's hurt, and why are we playing him if we're trying not to win and stuff like that. And then some people would say, well, if he wasn't playing, if he was hurt, well, Scotty's hurt too much, and I don't know if we could depend on him. So it's like we can't win in this situation in some ways with some people. But with us, well, we can look at it for what it is and exactly what Scott's saying. My legs work. I want to play. I can get out there and play. Even if I can't shoot exactly right, I will be out there kicking butt on defense and doing everything I can to help my team. My scoring won't look the same because in some ways my hand is messed up. So people got to realize about Scott that he's been playing hurt, and that's valiant. And that is something that I don't look down on. Some people will say, oh, well, if he had been sitting more, we would have lost more and it would have been better and stuff like that. Well, yeah, that's the Tank Nation BS bullshit. But yeah, it's just what it is. Scotty wants to play for 65. And you know what? That's what that rule was intended to do, was to get players the caliber of Scotty Barnes off their ass and play more games during the season. And if you don't make the 65, you don't get a chance to be up for any postseason awards. You don't get any postseason awards. You don't get contract bonuses and things kicking in on your big multi-year contracts. So the system is working, and Scotty is evidence of that. That the 65 game rule has kept Scotty on our court for us to watch him play. So some people can never be pleased. And in this situation, I just wanted to say it like it is. Scotty is a badass for playing with his hand not totally being 100%. He's not a fool. He's not an idiot. He's a valiant person for going out there and playing hurt. That's what I have to say. Now, don't expect him out there tonight. It is a back-to-back. It was going to either be tonight or yesterday that Scott was going to play. Well, he wanted to play against Delano. So he suited up and played against Delano. And it doesn't look like he would get to play Cade today anyway if he was going to play Detroit. Of course, Detroit is a bona fide playoff team. They're the only bona fide playoff team that we've had to play in the last 30 games for the most part right now. So this will be an uptick in competition with a team that is still playing because they are still active in competition for the season and the NBA championship. So, the Pistons will not be tank artists tonight. They will not be coming here with a soft lineup. They will be coming here with their regular lineup trying to beat us. And you know what? It's probably likely they will, just so y'all know. So, Scotty, I'm expecting he will sit tonight. I'm also expecting Oshai and RJ to sit tonight for rest. And we'll flip in Emmanuel Quickly and Jakob Poeltl. That's right. That's what we'll get. We'll flip in Jakob and Emmanuel, and also Grady, Ulrich, and Brandon are still out on the injury list. So that's our latest lineup news. I will speculate that our starting lineup tonight will be Emmanuel Quickly, along with Jacoby Walter, RJ Barrett. RJ played last night. That's right, not RJ. It'll be okay. Let me start over. It'll be Emmanuel Quickly, Jacoby Walter, Jamison Battle, Jakob Poeltl, and Jonathan Mobo. Let's just say that. Yeah, that's what I think the starting lineup will be tonight. I think we'll have 3 of the J-Rooks in there in the middle with Emmanuel and Jakob. So Jacoby, Jamison, and Jonathan with those guys. That's who I think will start tonight for the Raptors. They are saying on ESPN's matchup predictor that the Raptors have a 55% chance of winning this game at home tonight against the Pistons. That's interesting. Maybe they didn't get the memo. The Pistons have injuries, and one of them is their veteran, Tobias Harris, formerly of the Sixers, is out already for the game tonight. He has Achilles injury. Cade Cunningham is questionable due to a calf injury. And Cade has been hurt in recent months. He's also said publicly recently that he wants to be the best player in the NBA. Well, your old friend Scotty Wayne might have something to say about that. That's right. Jaden Ivey's been out for a while after a really bad injury, and he is. They've announced that he has actually transitioned to weight bearing and strengthening exercises for his leg that he broke earlier this year. Yeah, that was sad to see. So really, not a whole lot of injuries for the Pistons. We're going to get them without probably Cade, but Tobias Harris also out. So with Cade Cunningham out, our old friend Dennis Schroeder should be starting for the Pistons tonight as point guard. Tim Hardaway Jr. at shooting guard. Ausar Thompson at small forward. I'm going to guess that they're going to start Ron Holland Jr. To maybe possibly start at power forward in the place of Tobias Harris. And then Jalen Duren is the center, the big burly young player, Jalen Duren. Off the bench, Malik Beasley, Simone Fontecchio, Marcus Sasser, Lindy Waters III, Paul Reed, Dennis Jenkins, Tulu Smith. And, yeah, that's pretty much their bench. Isaiah Stewart is not going to be available tonight also because he's serving the second night of his suspension for the brawl in Minnesota this past weekend. So no beef stew also. That is a notable for the game tonight also. So no Tobias, no beef stew, and it's looking likely that Cade Cunningham will not be playing tonight for JB Bickerstaff's Pistons tonight. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. The Pistons in their last 10 games are 5-5. So they've been very mediocre at times. They won their last game Oh, wait, no, that's not right. Yeah, they are 5-5 in their last 10 games. They've lost 2 games in a row. So they're on a 2-game losing streak currently right now. So yeah, the Pistons are a good team and they are in the playoffs outright. They are not a play-in team, and they will be trying to make some upsets in the Eastern Conference Finals. Our ref crew tonight is probably one of the most favorable ref crews we've had this entire year. In Secaucus, New Jersey, it'll be JB DeRosa, Sayesh Mehta, and JD Rawls, who just refereed our game last night, will be sitting in the replay center. And on site, we'll have our favorite, the karaoke master, Bill Kennedy, will be reffing his second game for the Raptors this year, number 55 in his 27th season out of Phoenix, Arizona. He loves to listen to Luther Vandross. He loves to eat a good filet mignon with a bottle of red, and he would like to see the Egyptian pyramids, and his hidden talent is karaoke. Yeah, we love Bill Kennedy. The Arizona native attended Arizona State University after graduating from St. Mary's High School in Phoenix. At St. Mary's, he was named Knight of the Year in 1984 for his athletic achievements. And Kennedy's charitable efforts include working with former NBA official Tommy Nunez and running the National Hispanic Basketball Classic to help raise money for inner city youth. He also works with the Boys and Girls Clubs. Yeah, we've only had Bill once this year, which is a shame, and it was a win. The Raptors are 1-0 with him this year. We overall record for the 27 years of Bill Kennedy and Raptors basketball games is 57% winning percentage, and the Pistons win 47%. So 57-47 is the split for the Raptors with the crew chief, Bill Kennedy, one of the best deliveries on the challenge mic. Second ref is the Lithuanian ref, Gediminas Petraitis. That's right, number 50 in his 10th season. His favorite show is Narcos. He likes Eddie Murphy's movie Coming to America. He gets down to Swedish House Mafia. He reads the book The Great Gatsby. His favorite meal is Ceppaline. His favorite app is Peloton. He must like to visit Iceland. He liked to cycle in the French Alps. And his hidden talent is ballroom dancing. Born in Lithuania, Petraitis graduated from the University of Maryland with dual degrees in accounting and finance. He became a U.S. citizen in 2015. His father, Vit Montes, officiated college basketball games. And Petraitis enjoys traveling and occasionally dusting off and playing his accordion. Don't threaten me with a good time. That'd be crazy to have Bill Kennedy singing karaoke and Gediminas Petraitis jamming on the accordion to the side. Yeah, Gediminas is one of technically the best referee record, tied with the third ref. We are 50% with him this season, 2-2 for the season with Gediminas. Our overall record with all three refs today is a winning record. We are actually 8-5 with all the referees and all the games they've refed this year with the refs today. So 2-2 with Gediminas so far this year, with a 60% winning percentage in his career for the Raptors. And the Pistons win 38%. So 60-38 for the Raptors at home against the Pistons tonight. The last ref is the one that Fred VanVleet pointed a finger at and called him a B. That's right. John Conley out of Orlando, Florida, number 56 in his fourth season. He likes the TV show I Think You Should Leave. He listens to Michael Jackson. His favorite book is Be the Pack Leader. His favorite meal is potatoes and pasta. He really loves that Jim Carrey movie with Jeff Daniels, Dumb and Dumber. He'd most like to visit Australia, and he'd like to skydive in Dubai. Yeah. John Conley's first experience as a referee was officiating games with his mother in a men's league, 40 and over league. And he has served on the executive board of the National Basketball Referees Association. So there you go. John Conley is just like Gediminas. We have won 60% of our games in his career. This season, we are 2-1 with John Conley. And the Pistons win 48% of their games. So 60-48 is the split for the Raptors once again. So all three refs have been very, very friendly to the Raptors in the past. So I don't know what's going to happen. It could very well be an evening out game where they all take an L with us and we have a slower record with them because they're here. But it's nice to see Bill Kennedy, Gediminas Petraitis, and John Conley as our refs tonight. That's not a bad ref crew at all, man. It's not a bad ref crew at all. Not at all. Not at all. So there's your setup for tonight, the preview with our injuries and such. Beef Stew suspended. Bill Kennedy refereeing tonight. That's right. DK saying the Raptors can win tonight. They can, but will they? But will they? You know, once again, I'm talking to my friend Stevie Roots about the game before the game starts. He said, "Oh, I put money on the Raptors to win tonight, Lex." And I'm like, "Why did you do that, Steve? Why did you put money on the Raptors to beat the Portland Trailblazers tonight? They are not trying to win, and Portland is trying to play for their playoff lives." And we saw that last night. In some ways, the Trailblazers did come into the game last night with an energy to stay alive, Gloria Gaynor. I will survive, because they have very little postseason chance still. But if they lost us last night, they're eliminated from the playoffs. So Chauncey Billups had an easy way to get his guys up to say, we need to do something, because, we lose, we're out, and our season's over, and there's no chance for a play-in spot. The very slim chance that they have right now, competing with San Antonio, Phoenix, and Dallas for a play-in spot at the end of the Western Conference playoffs. So, yeah, important game for them. And we saw our local Canadians step up. London's Shaedon Sharpe kicking ass last night and scoring like a man. And then Delano Banton also showing up in his hometown and laying down some points. In fact, the two of them together combined for 59 points last night. And, some people were really excited. Some Portland fans were watching the Raptors game last night, and they were really impressed with our broadcast crew, because we were touting our Canadians on the broadcast crew, Shaedon Sharpe and Delano Banton. And even the Blazers fans were like, man, the Raptors announce crew is the best announce crew in the NBA. They just gave the player of the game to Shaedon Sharpe, and they did. And he deserved it. None of the Raptors played well enough to earn the player of the game last night. And we do this sometimes on our broadcast. If the Raptors lose and we just don't have anybody that played well enough, well, we give the player of the game to the other side. So we got some Blazers fans interested in our broadcast crew. And also, they said, well, I want to watch more Raptors and be more interested in it, because y'all's announce crew is so good. And it was good. We had Terrence Ross come in for a quarter and call the game with Matt and Jack. And Terrence is just so eloquent. He's so well-spoken. He's got really, really, he just says the right kind of stuff. Like, they asked him about what would you say to yourself when you were 19 or really young when you were on the Raptors. And he said, really good advice in different ways with different things. He said he would have talked to more people, that he would have talked to his vets more, and he would have talked to the staff more, because those are the people that will guide you to be more successful in your NBA career. So, yeah, Ross only having great memories of being in Toronto, telling it. And, it's full circle for me, because last summer when Ross was on Twitch, I told him, last August, you're going to get invited to come back to Toronto, and you need to come back to the arena and wave to the crowd and get your kudos and your love from Raptors Nation. And I told him, because it's the 30th anniversary for the Raptors this year. And he's like, oh, is that right, Raptors freak? Well, I probably will come up to Toronto then this year. And, well, he did. He fulfilled his promise and was on the broadcast, waved to the crowd. And what a perfect night for Terrence Ross to be in the house on 2010's night, celebrating the decade of the 2010s with the Raptors organization, seeing as he was a player on a lot of those years of the 2010s with the Raptors. And, man, I love, Matt and Jack talking to former players in the broadcast booth. When these guys come in, this season has been so awesome. Vince, of course, doing many, many games with Sportsnet on Rogers. And then you've got people like Jose jumping in for a second and talking. Jose Calderon. Now Terrence Ross. And it once again, the Raptors have done a really good job instilling the pride in the culture of the Toronto Raptors franchise this 30th anniversary season. There's there's a lot of honoring of the ties to our franchise with our past players that has been shown and put out there, and they're embracing it, and they're seeing just how far our fan nation has come. Terrence Ross comes down to the Scotiabank Arena last night and waves the crowd. He gets a little emotional, because in some ways, he's not playing anymore. He's not hearing the roar of the crowd actively as a player anymore, but he knows that when he can come back to places like Orlando and Toronto, he gets an ovation because he's a beloved figure from the past of our franchises. Yeah, it's awesome. And the stuff that he did with Scotty and Cabby on the Subway interview, just awesome, grade A content for Raptor stuff. Like that Subway Legends interview that they've done with Muggsy and JYD. Speaking of Muggsy, and also now Terrence Ross. That's an awesome segment, and it's so nice to see Cabby back involved with Raptor stuff too. I gotta say that, yeah. Trevor is DK saying bye bye Brooks, 1 game suspension. Yeah, he got to the maximum limit of technicals for the season, and he got an automatic suspension for too many techs. And that's not the first year that this has happened to Dylan Brooks. He's had this happen before. That's right. He's his era's Rasheed Wallace. He's his era's Rasheed Wallace. I don't know if anybody aspires to be their era's Rasheed Wallace, but Dylan Brooks is that. That is right. Trevor J's here. Good to see Commissioner Fun, Trevor J. I want to thank Trevor J, Sue, Adriana, Tristan, and MK for helping me with the brand new Discord that we opened yesterday. It will be the new place for hanging out during the game. I'm going to be on there in voice, so you can actually hear my voice reacting to the game on there, and maybe even sometimes the camera will be on so you can actually see me. But I'm learning Discord, and it's coming really well. Really, really, really well. And I want y'all, if you're here right now and you're interested, you can join the Discord server at this link. And in this link, you can wait, that's not the right link. Sorry. Whoops. I don't even know what that was. All right, hang on. I'll get the link real quick so that I can show you guys what's going on with the Discord. Hang on. Where's the invite people thing? All right, here it is. All right, I'll put the link in the chat. And yeah, it's been fantastic. It's really cool because one of the things we did after the game last night was Tristan and I reviewed the Raptors highlights after the game was over. I could put the highlights on a screen and we could watch them together and comment on plays and go over them and stop it and rewind and just talk about them. It was really fun. And I think that may be a new thing that I do for members and people that are on the Discord server with me, that after the games, I might do game reviews on the highlights. We may even show the interviews live in reaction to what the post-game interviews say too. So you all are going to want to join the Discord server for the Raptor Freak family. And we're setting it up, and it was gone really, really well. The other thing is I'm considering being on there a lot of the time so that if people want to just come in there and talk to me at times, they will be able to literally talk to me because I'll have the mic on. And if they want to talk Raptors or whatever or hang out, they can do that. So I hear somebody just came in there. I just heard the noise. They're like, this is the Discord. Let's see. James is in here. Good to see James has joined the Discord. It's going to be a fantastic place, James. Check it out. And you'll see what I'm talking about in the games coming up since you're in there now. So join up on the Discord, guys, and be ready for extra in-depth and interactive. Yeah, there you go. There's James. I'm gonna wave hi to James. There you go. It's a weird bird with it looks like an upside down ice cream cone. I don't know what that is, man, but welcome, James, to the Discord server. Yeah, there you go. Cool cat. We can do our own Zazu spaces now. Yeah, it was fun. I was talking to Tristan for a long time last night after the game. Of course, Sue and I were learning the Discord server. And she's going to probably set up one for her YouTube channel, Play It Again Sue. And there's going to be some possibly music reactions with her live on her channel. The possibilities are endless, and it was fun to learn it. And once again, I want to thank Adriana, Trevor, Sue, Tristan, and Meredith for all coming in and helping me try it out and learn it better and better. So Discord is open. And Cool Cat, I look forward to you joining our community also. Yeah. Trevor J's words of wisdom for today. If you're persistent, you'll get it. If you're consistent, you'll keep it. And if you're grateful, you'll attract more of it. Wow, I love this. This seems like expert level, advanced law of attraction. That's right. There's not just like ways of doing law of attraction, but it sounds like these are really 3 strong stages for it right there. If you're persistent, you'll get it. If you're consistent, you'll keep it. And if you're grateful, you'll attract more of it. Wow. I like that. I like that, Trevor. I might steal that one for later on. Yeah. Trevor's saying Miami clinched a playoff spot. So did they actually clinch the playoff spot or the play in spot? Did they get out of the play in? Then they get like actually a playoff spot? Let me go look at this real quick. I want to just make sure because I want to make it clear just in case. They've clinched a play-in spot. Okay, so is Chicago. Yeah, since we got eliminated from the playoffs a couple days ago, the Heat and the Bulls are just in the play-in because we're too far away to catch up to both of them. So the Eastern Conference playoff spots are all set for the top 10. They could shift around a little bit as far as who is what spot because there's some similar records like Milwaukee and Detroit. That's what I'm saying. Detroit's in the same record as the Bucks right now, as of right now. So they ain't trying to lose tonight because they beat us. They jump over the Milwaukee Bucks to the 5th spot in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So they are playing for something. They're playing for seeding with who they get to play. And it's basically the difference of this. Either they're going to be lined up with the New York Knicks or they're going to be lined up against the Indiana Pacers. So if they beat us, they'll get more in line with being lined up with the Pacers. So the Pistons definitely have something to play for tonight. That's something going on. James is here. He wants to do a scout on Thomas Sorber. He's a certain player comparison, Jared Allen. All right, we'll do this. I'll do this. Yeah. And you know what? We'll probably, I'm going to start doing a lot of stuff on Discord because I want to encourage people to be there with me since we're leaving I'm leaving Facebook. And that's part of the reason why I want people, if they want to hang out with me, it's going to have to be on Discord after this month. I'll stay on Facebook for the season, but the change is going to come for that I'm getting away from Facebook. I will not be using Facebook in May. And Instagram, same thing. I got to figure out what I'm going to do for the Instagram stories. I don't think I'm going to do them anymore. That segment's going to go bye-bye, partly because I'm leaving Meta. And that's just how it is. So we're going to go look at Thomas Sorber. Thomas Sorber. Let's see. I haven't heard that name yet. So this is definitely somebody we have not looked at. He's from Georgetown. Okay, cool. That's a great school. Rest in power, John Thompson. Let's see. Power forward center. He's 19 years old. He's from New Jersey. He's 6'10", 255 pounds. That's a great frame. That's a great size. Let's see. He's a Big East, all freshman team, and 3rd team all Big East. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's go look at him on the YT. See, Thomas Sorber, Georgetown Hoyas. Let's see what this guy is all about. No. All right, let's see. Midseason highlights. They're a little long, so we'll go ahead and just do the highlights here. All right, here we go. You know what? Actually, guys, we could do. This is the crazy thing, and this is what I'll do. James, you're in the Discord. I'm actually going to put I'm going to actually put the screen on up in the Discord so you can actually watch the highlight with me in the Discord, just so you know. And James, you know about that. You know what I'm doing here. So we'll go ahead and put this on the Discord so you can, so everybody who's in the Discord with me can actually go ahead and watch this segment as I watch it. And you can actually see what I'm looking at. So just so you know, all right? So here we go. This is going to be Thomas Sorber, Georgetown Hoyas highlights from this year. So here we go. Here we go. All right, that's the big man got the pass, and it's an easy play. Nobody's in his way there. Let's see, passing it around. They come up, they drive on the side. He gets it at the elbow. Nice turn and shoot. Nobody was near him, but the shot is a very nice shot technique. Very, very fluid, fundamental shot. Here he catches the ball down near the basket, and he puts it up over the player. That's pretty good. He seems like a very solid big man. I like how he spreads his legs and gets a wide base of gravity to really have force. He looks very strong in his arms and his upper body already. I like how he just crashed the board there and put it back. And look at the fieriness that he has after the shot. Yeah, you know what? I like his size already. He's got NBA muscles and size already in his career right now, which is fantastic. This is awesome. So, yeah, there's a nice big dunk. Yeah, I like this guy. He's got good size. Now, I don't know if he's got outside shot, if he's got any kind of stuff like that. In some ways that matters these days. It used to be a big man, what he does, already good enough. There's some passing chops. I like that. Here we go. He's underneath the basket, but he comes back into the play and he steals the ball, a rebound, and puts it back. Wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, he's a very active player, and his legs are very long, very, very, very long. I like the fact that he's not weak. He's a very strong player already. This guy would be an interesting prospect if we do not get one of the centers that we want in the lottery, in the top of the draft, in the second round. He could be a good player, or in some ways, somehow we get him. But I don't think they would pick him in the top 10. But he looks like if you stole him in the second, he could be a very promising big man project coming up in the ranks, coming up with like Shamshay. Yeah, look at that. He's on the boards really nice. He's not lazy. He's actually getting up there and dunking it, which I like. Let's see this move on the baseline. He had a little foot fake, and then he put it up over him. That's really good offense, actually. Really, really good offense. All right, and they're playing good teams too. This is Syracuse. So there's a nice catch. He just almost lost it, but he got it. And yeah, nice little move around the defender. Didn't react. Looks like a good kid, honestly. And I really do like his size. His size is good. He's got good strength. And he looks like he's got really strong legs. That's the other thing I like. So, yeah, I like this Sorber guy. And he's a green light to me. If we end up getting him later in the draft, I would not be upset because he's the right direction of the kind of big man player. He looks like he has a great wingspan too. They measure out his arms. He's probably got a pretty good wingspan there. So I'm going to stop the clip here about halfway. I don't want to go through the whole 7 minutes, but yeah, there's my clip for the Thomas Sorber. Thanks for bringing him to me, guys. Hey, Nins is in here too. Good to see Nins out of Philly. I see Gerald has joined the Discord also. Fantastic. So we're filling up the Discord, and like I said, I'll be in here for this stuff. All right, that's it. I'm gonna get out of there. All right, good scout. I like it. I think that it's actually that guy is very promising. James, I like him. He's a thumbs up from me. Nins is here. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freak crew. Good morning to you, Nins. Hope the weather's Philadelphia is nice. We got warm yesterday here, and it's fantastic. It seems like maybe we got through the last part of winter this weekend with the ice storm, and hopefully Ontario's ready to be in spring and get the summer. I hope the weather's really nice in Philly also. Smooth's here. Good to see Reggie. Maybe it's playing to get a contract bonus. Games played, more money. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to. You're exactly right. Money's involved in this to a degree, but it's not totally the whole thing. Scotty does really love playing. And last year, when he sat so much at the end of the year, in some ways, he didn't need to sit. He was able to play then, too. But that was a very concerted effort by the Raptors to sit him because they were kind of tanking, right? They was manipulative. Him and Yak being out at the end of the year last year manipulated losing. And, well, I don't know. Maybe Scott was like, I'm not wasting my life every year to sit out at the end of the year. And in some ways, he's like, no, I want to play, and I do have a goal to get 65. At the beginning of the year when he got hurt and he was in danger of already losing the 65 games for the year, he had to make a decision. Am I going to really press through and do the games hurt to a degree just to make sure I can get to 65? And he may have had this challenge deep internally to say, I'm going to make 65 no matter what, because I want to show that I'm durable. I want to show that I'm not an injury-prone player like a lot of players in this league right now, and I am going to be available. And I think that's a big part of it all right there, that he wanted to make himself available for his team, and that's admirable to me. I'm not mad at him for playing hurt. In fact, that was common, and that was normal in the NBA in the 80s and 90s. So I will say that right there. There you go. There you go. So, yeah, wave hi to Reggie's here now. We've got Nins in here. This is awesome. You guys are going to really like this place. If you're not on Facebook and you're not with us there, now you are here with us here. It's going to be fun. And in tonight's game, I'll be in here talking during the game while we're watching it. And we can have live interaction, commentary, and I'll be able to hear you guys, which is the fantastic thing. So if you're interested in watching the game with me tonight, I will be on Discord, and we will have the mics on. And we can do a little live Zazu Spaces in the middle of the game, guys. So we're going to get this going. And I see you, Reggie. I see you in here, Reggie. It's awesome. Yeah. So, all right, let's keep going. Reggie's also saying, I would not play him personally. There's no benefit to that, respectfully. Yeah, I mean, I get it if you're really trying to lose hard, but in some ways, Scotty hasn't really been adding up to helping us win because of limiting his time in clutch minutes. And it really is like a thing. I don't think it's a selfish thing either. You want the guy to want to show up and to be going through things. In some ways, I'd rather it's like if there's the alternative, I'd rather him be this. Does that make sense? Some guys it's just like people getting used to tanking in a team and losing breeds losing. Well, sitting out just to sit out because of a superfluous little injury can breed Joel Embiid. Let's just put it that way. And I don't want Scotty to get into a career like Kawhi Leonard. You know what I'm saying? In some ways, if he's a badass, then he's ready to say, you know what, I'm tough. I can play through this hand injury. I'm going to continue to play. I admire him for that. And like he said, if it was really a risk that he could injure it further and really jeopardize his career, they would not put him out there. So Dr. Alex and his medical staff have analyzed it, and he can't hurt it any further. It's just that he hits it on things sometimes. He needs it to heal for the summer. And, I noticed sometimes when he's hurt his hand, he'll hit it on the rim and he'll hold it like this a little bit, or another player will hit it and he'll hold it like this. You notice those moments when he's hit his hand and he's hurting. Yeah. Trevor's saying it was good to see Terrence Ross with the broadcast crew. He said some good things. Yeah, very intelligent man, very well spoken. And I've always really liked Terrence, and it's been fun interacting with him, man. I felt like I got to know him a bit last summer, talking wrestling, watching him play video games. He was on so regularly during the summer last year, like 4 days a week, that he really did offer a lot of his own time when after he dropped his kids off at school in Orlando. He came home and he'd get on the Twitch almost every day. And yeah, that was valuable time. And like I said, man, interacting with NBA players and former NBA players on Twitch has been fantastic because you really do get to talk to them. And I have an open dialogue where I can ask them questions. Like I asked Ross last summer, is the NBA script right? And he said, yeah, they do script right. They want certain teams to win and other teams not to win. So he was very open and honest about it out of the NBA as a retired player, saying that, yeah, the NBA will manipulate the results to help teams that they want to do well. And that's straight from Terrence Ross, former NBA player, on his Twitch broadcast, man. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Where am I here? Trevor's saying they're saying we're going to get an update on Ingram and Grady today. Yeah, I think Friday was the regular day that we get the injury updates for Ingram and Dick. And I don't expect us to hear that they're coming back. I mean, I really don't. At this point, what is the point? Just like Reggie's just said, like he wouldn't play Scotty if he's hurt right now. Now, Scotty, I'll bet you this is what will happen. Scotty will sit this game tonight because it's the second night of back-to-back and it's likely. And then he'll sit one more game by the end of the season. He'll play exactly 65 games. So he should play most of the rest of the game still. It's just he'll miss 2 on the way out. He can miss 2 and he'll get exactly 65. So in some ways, he wants that one to miss in his back pocket just so he can try and ensure he gets it for sure. So, but with Grady and Brandon, I mean, they're not worried about 65 games in this way like Scotty. And there's no reason to bring them back at this point in some ways, unless Grady is really kind of close and he's healthy and he wants to get back out there. But what is the point? He's not going to get in a shooting rhythm. It's not that he's going to have enough time to really ramp up and get to that point. Maybe let's say, hey, just take the time off. You're on vacation already, bro. You're on vacation. And Brandon coming back this year? No, that's not going to happen. I can already tell it's not going to happen. Reggie's saying on-court benefit. I mean, the on-court benefit is, this is it right here, Smooth, that Scotty has barely played with IQ and that he's getting to play a lot with IQ in this late part of the season. And that is important reps of our starters playing off of each other. And that was one of the things, like the stat they kept showing since we made the OG trade to get IQ and RJ is the amount of games that Emmanuel Quickley had played with his teammates. Both RJ and Scotty was not that much because he was hurt so much since we got him. So every single game that Scotty can play with Emmanuel is valuable right now. It's very, very, very valuable. Yeah, Smooth saying he's already locked in for a number of years. The team should be okay with saying no to Scotty sometimes. I don't even know if it's him saying this. And once again, it's not like a thing where Scotty's a petulant child and he just demands things and we just give them to him, like drafting Jonathan or anything like that. No, the team is making smart decisions based on things. But if they line with making Scott happy, isn't that a good benefit of doing what they want to do? No, I think that it's smart that they've played Scott over this time because once again, he needed to play with Emmanuel more. He needed to play with RJ more, even too. And the other thing is this time that he's been playing in the last month or so, he's played a lot with the rookies. There's been a lot of lineups with just RJ and all the rookies, or Scotty and all the rookies. And that kind of chemistry and time on the court also is very valuable. Next year, it may very well be that we're winning a lot and Scotty's playing mostly with the starters and not playing as much with people like Jamal Shed and his own friend, Jonathan Mobo. So it's all valuable. It's all valuable. And in some ways, Scotty, like he said, if he can move his legs, he's going to play. That's what he said. I love this attitude. I actually really respect him for this. And I know already people that are going to be reacting to this negatively are going to say things like what Smooth is saying. What's the point? Why is he out there? Well, I like this is refreshing. People have complained about NBA players taking too much time off and never playing. Well, Scotty's going above and beyond like old school players and playing hurt like guys like Isaiah Thomas, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan did back in the day. Michael Jordan played all kinds of hurt over and over again. And it is just part of a DNA of a tough tenacity. And in some ways, it's good because, think about this. If we do get on some really deep playoff runs, Scotty may have to be like Kyle Lowry when we won our championship and play on the down low hurt and really, really have to play at a high level. And it's in some ways it's good to get practice playing hurt also to be able to understand, well, this is what it's like when I play hurt and how I can still help the team, even if I can't help it exactly because of being hurt. Kyle Lowry disclosed after the championship run that he was very hurt during the whole entire playoffs, and he pushed through and played through it, even though if it was a regular season, he would have sat. He would have sat. So there's a lot of different things like that are benefits for it. Reggie's saying, I mean, at this point, it's too late. Raptors are locked at 7 and has a better chance to slide into the 8 than moving into 4 lottery balls. Yeah, and that's not going to happen either. Our place is pretty locked in. The chances of us going to 8 at this point are very not big. I think they're like a 5% chance or something. So it's like 95% chance we're going to stay in the 7th best lottery odds. So it's in some ways, it doesn't really matter if we win or lose to a degree. But these teams we're playing these last 2 games do care about winning. And that's the difference in some ways. So if they really care about winning and we're not really needing to win or anything, in some ways also, Darko may be kind of doing a solid for some of his friends. Chauncey Billups, hey, here, you guys are still alive in the playoffs as of last night. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Good to see you are back home all safe. Yeah, it's been nice to be back at the house, not at Airbnb. And back with electricity and heat and water and internet. Yeah, it's been great, Cool Cat. In fact, let me do the straight goods on the Canadian goods segment right now. Guys, this week I've been highlighting Canadian franchises and not really products because it is important if you want to go out and get something to eat fast food wise that you don't go to American companies like McDonald's and stuff like that. I found out recently that this is something I did research on, that A&W Canada is actually Canadian. And somebody told me that, and I was like, wow, I wanted to go look it up, but it's true that at a certain point, A&W expanded into Canada, but the Canadian A&Ws branched off into their own company. So A&W Canada is legitimately Canadian. So eating at A&W is not eating American, just so y'all know. In fact, the parent company that owns A&W at this point is Unilever, and Unilever is actually a UK company. So if anything, if there's any kind of trickle up money going to the corporation over A&W, well, it's going to Unilever, and that's UK. And UK's on the side of the Allies at this point, and not on the axis of evil, which is the United States and Russia at this point. So y'all, I fully encourage y'all to go get a Papa Burger, a Matzo Burger, a Teen Burger, an Uncle Burger, a Mama Burger. Go get that frosty root beer from that cold mug at A&W. actual true Canadian fast food chain that, yeah, don't feel bad about eating there. You'll be fine if you eat at A&W. Yeah, A&W, a little history about their company is they became Canadian owned in it was, I believe, in 1956. They opened the first franchise in Winnipeg here, and they separated in 95. So they are Canadian owned since 1995, and there are over 1,000 locations across Canada where you can eat Canadian A&W, and you do not have to worry about any bullshit about supporting the United States. A&W Restaurants Canada is Canadian owned under the umbrella of Unilever, which is a UK company. So yeah, go ahead and get that A&W, baby. There's your straight goods on the Canadian goods. That's right. As this week I talked about Bar Burrito and St. Louis Bar and Grill, both other great Canadian franchises that are great choices for you. That's right. Cool Cat saying, I was very happy for the Terrence Ross experience. He really felt the love, and his facial expressions were timeless. Truly a proud moment for him. Yeah, yeah. It is a really sweet thing. And I love it, man, because, Terrence is beloved in Orlando. And in some ways, it is a kind of a rival for his favorite team. In some ways, he probably would say, in some ways, yeah, my Orlando years are this compared to Toronto. But the Toronto stuff has a special place in his heart. And as he said on the broadcast, Toronto's where he grew up. And it's just like he grew up with Kyle and DeMar and Jonas. And those guys all kind of grew up in the early 2010s together in the NBA. And they helped build the Raptors into a respectful franchise. We've given a lot of credit to Masai Ujiri, Dwayne Casey, DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, Jonas Valanciunas for giving respect to the Raptors. But Terrence Ross was in that crew, and he is a part of earning and claiming respect for the North, that he was a part of that nucleus and stuff. And I love how he put it on the broadcast too. He's saying, I helped them build up to the Eastern Conference Finals. And unfortunately, I wasn't here anymore, but I was a part of helping build up that championship. You're exactly right, T. Ross. You're exactly right. All of you guys were Pat, and Grevis Vasquez, and Corey Joseph, and Bismack Biyombo, and Damari Carroll even. These guys were all a part of building the team up, Luis Scola, to get to that point that we got to in 2019. Without the buildup and all the guys who played that were not a part of the final championship team, we don't do it, CJ Miles and DeLon Wright. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. I set up the Discord, and hopefully that's a format where I can see Cool Cat habitate with me there. Yeah. I hope it's going to be fun. We'll do the last few games of the season like this, and I'm going to be trying all kinds of new interactive stuff through the Discord, and it's very promising. I learned about Discord from Scotty. We even watched last night. Tristan and I watched the highlights of the game after the game together. And then we watched Daily Dose of Internet, which is fun. I don't know if you guys know that channel. It's like goofy highlights from internet clips. And it was just fun. It's kind of goofy watching it together, kind of like what Scotty would do on his channel. He'd go watch highlights and different clips on there with his buddies, and they'd all react together and stuff. So it's going to be fun. It's a really interactive site, and I'm learning it more and more. And as I unlock the ability of what you can do with Discord, I hope you guys will join me there, and we'll enjoy it together. That's what I'm saying. There you go. Boom goes the dynamite. Let's see. Trevor J saying Robinson outside threes looking better. I think Robinson just in general has looked more and more confident. I like that. So let's go ahead and look at the stars of the game real quick. My first star of the game is Canada's own RJ Barrett. RJ was the solid number one guy last night for the Raptors in the loss. 9 of 18 from the field. He missed all 5 of his threes, though, and his free throw. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, 1 turnover, 18 points for RJ in 26 minutes, a +4. Just being RJ, doing RJ stuff, leading the team. It was nice that the Raptors had 6 guys in double digits last night. And, it is what it is. They were winning for a lot of the game. And then, in the second half, things kind of got away from them. And the Trailblazers just got separated from us. And we never put in lineups near the end of the game that we're going to get the traction to overcome them and try and get them. Don't get it twisted. We have those kind of lineups. It's just we're short punching ourselves right now. We're pulling punches. We're not trying to hit them as hard as we can. And in some ways, let them have the lead and let them cruise to the win. That's kind of the mentality. The second star of the game for me is the other Canadian who came out on the court for the Raptors last night, AJ Lawson. 18 minutes for AJ. He shot 6 of 8. So he's been fantastic, scorching this week. 1 of 2 from 3. He missed his only free throw, which is weird. 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 3 turnovers, 13 points for AJ in 18 minutes, a +5. He's just been a good scoring machine. He's been a buzzsaw. He's been a ball of energy. He's been out there putting it all out on the court, and he's enjoying the hell out of himself too. Him talking to his buddies, Delano and Shaden. The Canadian content was very high on the court last night, and that's why I'm saying our 2 Canadians were the top players for our team, and the 2 Canadians on the Trailblazers were the top players for their team too, which is awesome. My third star of the game is going to go to Ochai Agbaji, who got the after-game interview. He admitted after the game that he's had a career year this year, and that they asked him, Ochai, how do you feel about next year coming back to this team with the starting lineup that's coming and then the rookies and then you and Grady? And he's like, yes, I understand. This team is very talented. This team is very competitive internally. And I have my work cut out for me next year to carve my role out for this team. But I'm excited about the challenge and getting better in this kind of atmosphere. So he's very right. Like the reporter asked Ochai about that. It's like he understands, and Ochai understands the assignment. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. In some ways, the minutes he's got this year may not be exactly the same next year, but I'm sure he's going to find ways. To his credit, Darko said that Ochai is a very valuable player and that he looks forward to seeing more development from him in different ways and getting more and more out of him in the future. Ochai was 6 of 11 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, at 15 points, -8 in 21 minutes. Yeah, he was great. He was solid. Like Jack said at the end of the game, Oshai's had a really good game tonight. A couple of honorable mentions for the game last night. Orlando Robinson, as Trevor put it early, just now, 6 of 12, a 50% shooting is great. 2 of 3 from 3, like Trevor's saying. He's hitting his threes more confidently. 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 14 points for Orlando Robinson, a -5. The guy is adding more and more offense in a confident way as we get to the end of the season, and I really want him back next year. I'm sorry, Masai, you guys got to make a contract for Orlando Robinson and get him in as our backup center next year. If not, the third center that's on our team, because you improved and got another guy who's going to be the second center. But I want him in the fold for insurance. This is Cool Cat and I's dream from years ago, that we could have center depth. And you keep Orlando Robinson around on a veteran minimum or some sort of contract, keep him on the NBA roster. That is what we're asking you to do, please. Jamal Shed is my other honorable mention. He shot 50% also, 4 of 8 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 2 turnovers, 10 points for Jamal. Not a bad game by him at all in that way too. Going over the rest of the guys, Scotty had an off night, and I think this is part of the reason why Darko came into his press conference telling everybody straight up that Scotty's hurt, because, they've been hearing the stupid noise from Raptors Nation online about what the hell's going on with Scotty. Well, Darko answered y'all. He's been hurt with his hand for a couple months, and in fact, he's been shooting with 3 fingers on his shooting hand. He can't totally use all of his fingers on his shooting hand, and that is a big reason why his shooting percentage has been down in this second half of the season after the All-Star break. And now that he's given them the reason, hopefully they'll hear the reason and they'll shut up. Because honestly, it's like, look, now you know why he's not playing as well. But only 5 points for Scott last night on 2 of 8 shooting. He missed both his threes. He did make his free throw, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers. Really a paled in shadow of what he normally does. And in some ways, well, just allow the guy to be human is what I'm saying. There's going to be ups and downs. Everybody's not always full peak performance all the time. And you got to let people be human and have off nights. I'm sorry, guys. You just have to. Let's see. Jacoby also started 3 of 9 from the field. Jacoby was great energy out there. He gets after it. And once again, we're talking about with Jacoby during the game. I love how fundamental, how clean he is. He's been taught the right way how to do things. And, early in the game, he had a pump fake shot that he made over Portland defenders in the lane, where he not only pump faked like multiple times, but he did a very, very high level skilled English shot with a spin around a defender's arm and hand and off the backboard into the net. And I'm telling you, the potential with Jacoby is off the charts. We're going to see this kid get better and better and better and better. And I'm all here for it. 3 of 9 from the field from Jacoby, 1 of 4 from 3, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 7 rebounds, including 3 offensive, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover, 9 points for Jacoby, a +6. Cole Schweider had a tough game, man. I feel bad for the guy. He went 0 for 6 from 3, went 0 for 8 the whole entire game. And yeah, somebody was asking me last night, do you think they're going to give him another 10-day contract? No, they will not. I'm pretty sure they won't. And there will be one more 10-day contract coming out for the rest of the season, and we'll have to see who they fill it with. But I'm pretty sure it won't be Schweider. Now, Colin Castleton, we found out in the last day or so, has been signed to a 10-day to the Philadelphia 76ers. So Nick Nurse has got Castleton right now. Now, this is not anything different than what we did. So in some ways, they don't have any stake to him. Now, if they turn around and throw a contract on him for next year, so be it. In some ways, this is just how the NBA is. And I don't want to hear it from Raptors fans just in case that happens. Castleton ends up on the Sixers next year. Don't get mad. Just understand this is just the NBA. It's a business. But if you ask Colin Castleton after 20 days with the Raptors, and who knows if he goes 10 days with the Sixers, which team he'd prefer, or which team he had an experience, I'd like to see the comment cards for both teams and franchises in the 10-day contract times when he was winning the teams. I know he enjoyed being on the Raptors. He got massive production, and there's a lot more order, and you can see what we're building here in Toronto. I'll bet you Colin in Philadelphia is probably like, what the fuck is going on here? This is crazy. Y'all are not trying to win, and this is kind of wasting my time. So if you all are worried about the Sixers stealing Colin Castleton from us, just stop. Because in some ways, he has autonomy on his decisions to a degree. And if he's going to hold out and figure out which training camp he wants to go to next year, I think it's more likely he's going to come to our training camp. He's going to come to Nick Nurse's Philadelphia Sixers training camp. I'm just saying. The experience, the comment cards, I'd be very curious to hear an interview with Colin Castleton after his experience with the Sixers, right after experience with the Raptors. Jamison Battle, 3 for 4, all 3-pointers, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 9 points for him. Jonathan Mobo, not a bad shooting night, another 50% shooter, 5 of 10. 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal. He did have 6 turnovers, though, which is absolutely egregiously bad. Jonathan Mobo, you should never, ever have 6 turnovers yourself. You're not playing clean. That's for sure. 10 points for him, though. So, yeah, that's the rest of our team. Still a DMP for Chris, which bugs me, man, which bugs the hell out of me. On the other side, I will give shine to Shaden Sharp. London, Ontario's Shaden Sharp, 36 points on 14 of 23 shooting, 4 of 10 from 3, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, a +17. Yeah, Darko said that, like, they just weren't finding Shaden incorrectly. Our defense, since it flipped to April, has not been there. We've had 2 games now against the Bulls and the Blazers, and in both games, we were matadors for the Bulls and say, ole, ole, come right through the lane and right down into the basket and put it in. And in some ways, Shaden Sharp was the bull last night, bulling to whatever he wanted to do against us. Delano Banton having a great game, 8 of 19, 2 of 10 from 3, 5 of 5 at the free throw line, 23 points for our guy from Rexdale. He did have a couple of moments that were kind of like he got blocked by RJ pretty good in the first half. I love that. RJ came up behind Delano and blocked him. And then there were a couple times where they really messed up Delano. One was on an inbounds play where he's trying to inbound the ball, and Shed was shadowing the guard too well, and they didn't have a pass in. And Denny was not trying to get free close to him, Denny Avija. So they got a 5-second call on the inbounds, and there was a turnover. And then Shed did this crazy wall once again, and this may be one of his signatures, guys. Jamal Shed getting the 8-second call at the half court is happened twice in recent games. It happened again last night where he held Delano from coming across the half-court line and turned the ball over. And that's awesome. That's really, really high-level shit. And I don't see a lot of players in this league like actively getting the 8-second call like that in a regular way. So, Shed, you're a genius, man. And you really kind of were terrorizing Delano Banton to a degree with your defense last night. I'm not going to lie, you were. The other guy is Avija. He had a double-double, 26 and 15 rebounds. And Klingon had 13 rebounds himself. So, yeah, the Trailblazers are not a very good team. I'm going to say that right now. They look very poor at times. But they had enough talent, and Sharp and the Banton wanted to win in Canada, so they won in Canada. Sadly, the Blazers have swept the Raptors for the season. And it's another team like the Bulls that have a sweep on us. I hate this shit. It's not like the Bulls and the Blazers are the creme de la creme of this league. Their teams, the Blazers have been really bad in the last couple of years. But for some reason, we cannot beat them in the last couple of years. So we got to keep the receipts. And we'll come back around and see you, Delano, next year, and Chauncey Billups. And hopefully we can win against the Trailblazers again. Finally. Jeez Louise. It's crazy how we lose to them all the time. I hate it. Trevor's saying Darko's interview before the game, he's such a smart coach. I love what he said. Yeah, I didn't totally hear it. In some ways, I have to admit that I was not totally watching the game correctly last night because I was messing with Discord the whole game. And some of it was testing out, talking to everybody. And when Darko was doing his pregame interview, I was actually working with Sue on fixing Discord. So I didn't totally listen to Darko as clearly as I should have in the pregame interview. So in some ways, maybe Trevor, you tell me what he said. But I love the thing that they did last night with the shoes. Of course, it's Autism Awareness Month for April. And one of the coaches for the Jazz, who's Canadian, Scott Morrison, put those shoes on all the coaches, and they donate them for charity. And the proceeds go to all 100% of the proceeds go to Autism Awareness charity. And you saw Darko wearing the shoes once again. And even our broadcast crew was wearing some of the shoes before the game, putting them on blast. So, yeah, good stuff from that, too. Andrew's here. Good to see Andrew Polander once again. Raps should just shut down the core and not risk an injury. Well, I mean, that's kind of, they've been half-assed shutting down the core. It's like alternating a current, AC, because it's alternating Oshai and RJ for IQ and Jakob and stuff like that. Some fans are wondering, is IQ ever going to play with RJ again? Well, it's just for the end of this year, guys. Come on. And these guys play a lot in practice all together. I mean, I don't totally disagree with you. In some ways, as we get closer to the end of the season, you probably will see some of these guys not just sit one game, but a couple games in a row. But I think the pattern's going to stand for the most part right up until maybe the last two games. So what we've been doing already is probably going to continue. But like I said, tonight, we're probably going to see Scotty, RJ, and Oshai sitting out tonight. And we'll see Yak and IQ back for the game against the Pistons tonight. Yeah. Andrew's saying these last few games are meaningless. Don't risk an injury. That would be devastating. No, that would be bad. And knock on wood, we don't want any injuries. But also, NBA players can go at different speeds, there's different speeds. There's all-star game speed. There's summer league speed. There's preseason speed. There's, regular season game that doesn't mean anything speed. There's regular season game that means something speed. There's first round speed. There's Eastern Conference Finals speed. There's playoff speed, like final speed. So let's just not get it twisted, Andrew. These guys can limit how they're exerting to limit the possibility of injury by, not going all out. And it's not that they're not trying. They're playing to a high level. It's just that they understand where it can be risky. Like they're maybe not taking some of the risks they would, like driving in the lane and getting in the air. They may be also not being as physical in general and fighting for position and different things. So there are ways to kind of like circumvent possible injury while still playing. It's just kind of like you're playing more careful. Like I'm saying, like when the players play in the All-Star game, they play this way. And that's part of the reason why the All-Star game doesn't work right now. Yeah. Let's see. What do you say to your fan base if a player suffers an unnecessary injury? Well, once again, why is the fan base so like what's the right word? What is the right word I want to say right here? Why does the fan base feel like they deserve anything? Is what I'll say. Like, who the fuck are you? Is what I say to the fan base. Why? Oh, we would demand. Like, what do you say to the fan base? What is this? Like, what are you guys? You're fans. You watch the team. It's not like they want the guys to get hurt. If a horrible thing happens, it's like that's just something that tragically happened. Like, and like it's like in some ways, I hate that attitude from the fans. Like they feel like they deserve everything and they just want everything to be perfect. And when it doesn't happen, it's like, who are you guys? Aren't stockholders. You guys aren't like people that are like in charge or in any way kind of like, it's like, let the team just be the team. We're fans. We want to hope for winning and victories and good things and not injuries. Yes. But also, teams can't control everything in the fucking world. And it's like the fans demand such perfection from the players, the front office, the coaches, that it's like, y'all get over yourselves, is what I'm saying. Like that kind of thing is, what do you say to your fan base if a player suffers an unnecessary injury? Well, that's bad shit. We don't like it. And we'll get him healthy and we'll bring him back. You know, man, you can't live your life in fear. You can't be holding back totally because of this. We have to have a certain amount of players out there. And there is valuable time in playing our guys, even if they're starters, together. Like I said, Scotty and IQ. What I'm saying is, I feel like the fans are like, what is the right word? Spoiled? Yeah, like y'all need to just chill and just be fans and enjoy it. We could be Blue Jays Nation. We could be Leafs Nation, which is great right now, apparently, because they're doing really well. But think about all the times where things go up and down. And the Raptors have been very successful. And we've had really awesome times as Raptors Nation. So it's like, man, at a certain point, the Raptors fans get spoiled. And a lot of it has to do with the championship and people getting used to winning. And then when it wasn't at that level anymore, they turn into little shits. And I'm just sick of it. Y'all don't deserve anything. We do what we do, and we hope for success, and we hope for victories, and we hope for Larry O'Brien's. But y'all don't deserve jack shit. We just watch the games. We're fans. And whatever happens, happens. Andrew, I'm not trying to pick on you specifically. I'm just saying this attitude about entitlement. That's the word I'm looking for. Why are Raptors fans so feeling entitled? That's what I got to say about this. There's nothing in this world that's just easy. And the Raptors got to do what they got to do. And in some ways, there's so much entitlement with the fans. Like, I get it. I want Chris to play too. And maybe that's an entitlement kind of like mentality. It's like, oh, Chris should be playing. Or, oh, this or that. I mean, every single thing that happens with the team, you can criticize some way or another, whether it's Scott's playing or he's not playing. People would criticize him for being lazy and never being able to play. People would criticize him for playing even though he's hurt. You can't win. You can't win. So I'd much rather Scott do what he wants to do than try and kowtow to the public favor of Raptors Nation. Seriously. He should do what he wants to do. If he didn't want to play, I would support him. And if he does want to play like he does, I support him there too. Is kind of what I say there. Yeah. Andrew's saying that's not true. We have a better chance of moving down a spot than winning a lottery ball. That's not true right now, Brand. There's actually some separation with us at this point. And that the percentages are not there for us to move anymore. Like right now, we are 4 games behind, 4.5 games behind the Spurs. And how many games do we have left? I got to tell you right now, Andrew, we have like 5 games left or something like that, right? 5 games. Well, 4.5 games is not really totally possible to get there. The thing would have to happen is the Spurs would have to lose every single freaking game, and we'd have to win every single game. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to lose tonight. And when we lose tonight, we'll officially not be able to be caught by the Spurs. I'm going to tell you that right now, because it's going to separate us enough. And there's not enough games to make up for it. 4.5 games is like, you need to do a couple things more than just lose and them winning. Then that can happen, but it's not going to happen because the percentage chance of that happening is very, very small. That is actually true. Seriously, because we got good distance from them at this point. The Spurs have right now, as we speak, they have 32 wins. We have 28 wins. We have 5 more losses than them. So they'd have to lose 5 more games right in a row. And, we'll have to just see how it goes. But I'm telling you right now, the chances of us losing our 7th worst record in the league right now is not very good. It's not good. It's too late in the season. There's not enough games to make up that much of a difference. Cool Cat saying the only fast food place I visit is A&W. I love the Beyond Burgers. There you go. So see Cool Cat supporting Canada by eating at A&W. There you go. I like that. Andrew's saying Raps have a 34% chance to get bumped down to the number 8 on lottery night. Fact. We have a better chance of moving down 1 spot than staying at 7 if we don't win a lottery ball. Now, you're saying after the ping pong balls come out. Man, listen, I'm not doing Debbie Downer, Andrew. I know you've been here a couple times before, but you got to understand, once again, this isn't Zazu Spaces. This isn't other Raptors places where we toxically just talk about doomsday shit, like Debbie Downer shit. Listen, bro, we're going to do whatever because, once again, we don't rely on luck when it comes to the draft. We rely on skill. And we have skill in our front office, unlike any of the other front offices in this league. You can even say that over Sam Presti, because Sam Presti has a bunch of draft picks he's picked that aren't on the team anymore, and they've been kind of screwed up and not totally worked out. We are quality. Every single pick we get, we make it work. Jacoby Walter, Jamal Shed, Jonathan Mobo, Alrish Shamshay, 4 picks last draft, all hits. It doesn't matter where we draft, Andrew. The other teams have to play by luck and worried about that. Raptors fans see that around the league, and they think, oh, we need to worry about where we pick. We don't give a shit where we pick. We could fall to 10, and we will pick the best damn player, and you'll see Masai and Bobby once again get the big dub because of the draft. So I'm telling you right now, the other teams, because they have poor GMs, poor scouts, poor personnel in their front office, they have to rely on luck. We do not, because we rely on skill. And it doesn't matter where we pick. That's the big dirty secret that nobody's saying right now in the Raptors land. All the media wants to make y'all feared and scared. Oh, they fall. Oh, they fall. Ooh, Chicken Little, Debbie Downer. No, you don't need to worry about this, bro, because we draft with skill. Masai and Bobby don't fuck up. They don't shoot the miss like OG doesn't shoot the miss. So what are you worried about, man? The ping pong balls can't be controlled anyway. And if we fall back a spot to 8, who cares? We're going to be fine no matter what. If we get 4th, like we did when we got Scott, yeah, they're going to make that pick good wherever it is because it's skill, baby. The other teams, Washington, they need luck. Trust me, they need luck, but the Raptors do not. They do not. That's it right there. And so that's why I don't do any of this fear mongering about where the pick is and the lottery ball. First of all, it may all be stupid and dumb, because we actually get really good ping pong luck and we're in like the top 5 of the draft anyway. So it's like, come on, man. Stop fear mongering before anything is fucking happening, Andrew. That's what I say to that right there. Wayne is saying this after what I just said. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Raptors coach's job for the summer must be to implement intense competition for various positions on our team. We know that's what's going to happen. Yeah, I think like last year, if there's anything that we learned from last year, Darko will do an exit meeting with each of the players, and he will specifically give them each a work program for the summer. And he will tell them exactly what to work on. And I'm telling you, with the leaps and gains of people like Yaka Pirtle, Oshai Abaji, and Chris Boucher, even this past season, that it's a very successful direction pointing that Darko gives his players in the offseason to get better and come back with real skills that absolutely help with the direction and the plan that he has for what we're doing. So I'm excited about that. And in some ways, the competition for the time and the starters and the rotation next season is partly won by how much they accomplish the tasks that he sets out for them at the end of the season. So this offseason, here, Oshai, work on this and this. Grady, work on this and this. And well, if you guys get a lot of long progress, you may have a better chance to usurp somebody on the rotation hierarchy. So that is something I think is going to happen. There's a very tailor-made program for each one of the individual Raptors for this summer. And Darko, it all goes and fits. It's all worthwhile because it all fits within the scheme and the vision that Darko has for the Raptors as a complete unit. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to see that happening. I'm going to see that happening right now. Yeah, coming up. Cool Cat saying, off to a meeting. Have a good day, everyone. Good to see you check in for a sec, Cool Cat. I know that during the week, it's harder for you to be present in the chat live. And hopefully we'll see you more on the weekends and on the Discord. That'll be really fun. Yeah. Yeah. Wayne's saying, we knew Scotty was playing hurt. Sometimes he was always wincing and holding his hand. Mobo looks indecisive at times with too many turnovers. Yeah, I could agree with that. It's just Jonathan's got to get more comfortable. In some ways, he's played very confidently considering a lot of things. But, at a certain point, you may be like, let your guard down as far as quality of play because you're really trying really hard as an early rookie in your early career. And then kind of near the end of the season, you're more exhausted and tired because it's a long grind of a season. And you're learning that for the first time. I mean, Jonathan's never played a long season like this. And in some ways, there may be lapses of judgment and lapses of concentration, partly because of the strain of the very, very long NBA season. So I think that this is natural. Some players some do not, especially young players, their game falls apart a little bit in the second half of the season because of fatigue. And I think that's a lot of it right now. It's just some ways it's like it's been a long season. In some ways, he may be ready to rest for the end of the year because he's played pretty consistently the whole year. He's been barely hurt a little bit because of the face fracture. And that's it. He was very much present for most of the season. And also, we got to remember, J-Mo was doing double duty on the 905 along with the Raptors. So he got a lot of games in this year. He got a lot of games in. Yeah, a lot of games. Yeah, you could tell Scotty was hurt. We've saw many times he was holding his hand, and I was always a little bit like crossing my fingers when I see that and be like, yeah, we don't need him to be seriously hurt. And often in those games where I'd see him hold his hand, I was waiting to see him on the injury report for the next game and not play, and he wouldn't be. And I'd be like, wow, Scott's going to play through the hand stuff, obviously. And I was aware of this on the down low, but I wasn't trying to broadcast it too much because in some ways, until the Raptors broadcast that it's actually happening, I don't want to just point out the weakness for other teams to be knowing it more. That's right there. That's right. Stargate saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Yes, Wayne. Scotty has been holding that hand during games for like over a month now. My hope is it's not too serious that he may need surgery because it's been a while. Yeah, I don't want to paint any doomsday, guys. Obviously, if there's some issue and he needs surgery, they'll do that. But I don't think it is like that. I think that the hand injury may be something not as bad as you guys think. I don't think anything's structurally damaged. It's just kind of like a weird lingering sprain, and that he keeps re-injuring it a little bit because it's like it hurts again. But then it's like something, I don't know, he's been able to work with. Either way, once again, we got to trust the people that work for the Raptors, whether it's trusting Darko with his coaching, trusting Masai and Bobby with the draft, and trusting Dr. Alex, who's one of the best in the league at what he does, to like be monitoring and making sure that Scotty is not doing anything that's too dangerous for him to be doing right now. So that's what I say right there. Reggie's saying Swider was signed because Grady was injured. I doubt the Raptors had any use for him other than a replacement. You know, the reason why they brought in Carl Swider is because, honestly, he was one of the best G League players this year. And in some ways, when they were looking at who do we get our next 10-day contract, we want to go look at the G League and let's see who's at the top and who's an interesting person to kind of give it a look at. That's the whole reason why. Colin Castleton, same thing. He was one of the best G League players in the league this year and dominated in certain ways. So that's why teams like the Raptors and the Sixers are throwing 10 days at him at the end of the year because they want to try him out and see if he's a possibility for training camp and things next year. Cole Schwider, same thing. He may not have been totally successful and he didn't really put his best foot forward as far as things. And you could tell he's pretty upset about it. But you know what? There's going to be other chances for him too. It's just this chance is probably not going to be the one that works out for him. That's for sure. Yeah. Andrew's saying this whole 65 game thing with Scotty just shut him down. It clearly bothers him. Well, once again, it's Scotty's choice to a degree, along with the doctors and Masai and Darko. In some ways, look, you don't want to mess with a man's livelihood, right? You know, in some ways, if you tell Scott, no, we don't want you to play, and he's like, I really want to get 65 games, though, guys. That's a personal goal for me. Because you know what it is? Scotty wants to be considered for all defensive team. And if he doesn't get 65 games, he can't make the all defensive team. And that matters to him. And in some ways, look, you don't want to be a front office and a team that's making your franchise player unhappy for no reason that you don't have to. You know, if Dr. Alex came to Scott and said, your hand is too bad, you should not be playing, I medically advise you to do that. He probably listened to him, but I don't think he did do that. I think that Scotty asked him and said, I really do want to get 65 games, Dr. Alex. Do you think that this could still happen and I could still play? And he's like, you know what, Scott, you could still play right now if you want to. He doesn't play if they don't think he can still play. So that's the thing. We can't second guess this shit. We have to trust Dr. Alex and the sport medicine of the VP of the Raptors. And that dude knows what he's doing. And in some ways, he's so successful with Kawhi, he invented a whole thing called load management. So just understand, that they wouldn't be doing this with him if there was a huge risk, is what I'm saying. Stargate saying, don't worry, Lex. Next season, we smoke both the Bulls and the Blazers. Most of these teams are going to be the same next year. We won't. I think the Bulls are going to be better next year, though. I do. I think that they're swapping places with the Magic on the down low. I think the Magic have regressed, and they, in some ways, do not have a system that's going anywhere right now, as far as what I've seen from them. Sure, they've got talented players, but I don't think that they have puzzle pieces that fit together. And in some ways, they don't make sense right now. The Magic are broken. And meanwhile, the Bulls make sense all of a sudden because Josh Giddey is a great all-around player that's really connecting well, and the rise of Buzelis is a big part. They really impressed me this week. The Bulls have a nucleus and a coach and a plan and a growth path to be a playoff team next year. I see it. I see it right now. The Blazers, I don't know. They're lost. You're right. You may be right about them, but I don't think you're right about Chicago. I think that Chicago, if they could get somebody, if they could trade Lonzo Ball and get somebody that's not always injured, they could be very good next year. I'm telling you, especially if they keep Vucevic with this crew. They need Vucevic, though. That's a big part of it. That's a big part of it. Stargate saying teams like DC, Charlotte, Brooklyn are going to be just as bad next season. Sixers as well. I like to believe all that. Yeah, I like to believe that's true. I believe it for sure on the first three. And Sixers, well, I hope so. We'll have to see. That is maybe a wild card just because of, this season's been so bad for Philadelphia. Heads may roll this summer, and there may be not a lot of tolerance for anything but success in Philadelphia. And that may be very interesting. That's right. Stargate saying entitled is the word you're looking for, Lex. You said it to me. You're right. Yeah, I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. Raptors fans, we should be just really thankful that we are still in the NBA in some ways, honestly. Not that we would have lost our team, but man, there's a pandemic and now there's a weird ass tariff war going on. And in some ways, y'all are so entitled acting some of the people in the fan nation. I'm just like, dude, we have so much we could lose right now just because of the global politics right now. So let's just soak it up and enjoy it. It may not be around in the near future just because of crazy ass shit. And that scares the hell out of me. In some ways, the Toronto Raptors are a canary in the coal mine for the whole entire world right now. And we don't want that canary in the coal mine to be on the bottom of the cage all of a sudden, because that probably means there's really bad shit going on politically in the world right now. So yeah, we're in a precarious situation in some ways. The fact that we're the only Canadian team in an American league where America is turning into an isolationist like Russia on our continent is not a good development. Let's just put it that way. And y'all worrying about Scotty, whether he's playing hurt or not, y'all worrying about this or that with the draft. In some ways, this shit does not matter in the world where there's serious political things happening that are very dangerous and scary for this whole entire world, is what I'm saying right now. So it's like, yeah, entitlement. Well, let's be having gratitude in some ways that we can actually still watch the Raptors play right now, because there's no guarantee that we're going to be able to watch the NBA season next year correctly, possibly, because things are going downhill fast in the United States. And that's what I'm saying. We got to be real about this. Seriously. Trevor's saying Warriors beat the Lakers last night. Curry 37, LeBron 33. That's cool. I like that. That's a classic matchup. LeBron versus the Warriors, Steph versus LeBron. And well, I heard that Luka's taking the blame for losing, that he didn't carry the team enough. And like I said, the honeymoon with the Lakers with Luka is going to be nice and fun for a little while. They're going to see some cool wins and some fun times, but they don't have any kind of team that's going to win jack shit. That team is like a cardboard box. You get it wet, it falls apart. And that's what's going to happen with them in the playoffs. Watch. These guys aren't going anywhere. The Lakers fans are going to think they're going to win a championship because Luka's on their team altogether. Well, you don't have no center. You don't have no defense. That's not going to get you a Larry O'Brien. I'm sorry. That's just not. Smooth saying Sixers have no shame, man. No shame at all. As much as I wanted the Raptors to move into the sixth spot, they don't compromise the game the way these other teams have, especially the Sixers. Yeah, I agree with this. That's the shame of the just unrepentant tanking. And that's what they're doing. They are very much tanking unrepentantly. And the Nets to a degree also. But I could give the Nets a little bit more credit because they do have a very young team that doesn't really know what they're doing. And in some ways, they have a lack of veterans at this point. And they kind of are like starting completely over. But the Sixers have veterans on their team that have been in this league for a long time, like Andre Drummond, and they are doing this, and it's just sad. It's pathetic. And the crazy thing is some people are describing the 76ers this year as one of the biggest disappointments in the history of the NBA as a team ever. And this is true. I mean, they were bragging in the offseason once they got Paul George that they were going to win the championship, and they were on their way to the championship. And, well, look at where they are at this point at the end of the season. This is not what they were expected to do. And that's why they are one of the biggest failures in the history of the almost 80 years of the NBA. Seriously, they're one of the biggest freaking failures ever in the history of the NBA, the Sixers this year. Biggest failures. That's right. If there's any justice, the Sixers will drop to 7 and lose their pick. I agree with this. Ball don't lie, Alvin Williams of Villanova from East Germantown Academy. Yeah, ball don't lie. Y'all want to mess around with karma. Y'all want to mess around with, not trying. Basketball gods frown on that. And maybe your ping pong balls will go south. And all of a sudden, the Sixers actually do lose their pick, and Oklahoma City is picking their pick. I don't know if it's likely. They do have some pretty good protection. I mean, they're in, fifth right now? So they'd have to have, 3 teams leap them or 2? So in some ways, they got some pretty good insurance to probably still protect their pick from the Thunder. And honestly, I want the Sixers to keep their pick. I know a lot of people are saying, no, we want the Thunder to get their pick. But in some ways, the idea of the Thunder getting another huge top pick with their team already where they're at is too juggernaut. And in some ways, once again, as much as I have faith in Masai and Bobby with the draft, with their skill, I have faith in the Sixers to screw up their draft. It doesn't matter where they pick because they will screw it up. And that's just a track record of history is what I'm saying here. Yeah. Let's see. Kaz is here. Good to see Trucker Kaz on a Friday. That's right. On the road again. Spurs can realistically lose every game they have left. Check their schedule. Yeah, I mean, and they're playing us on the last game of the season, and that game may be very important. We'll have to see. By the time we get there, we'll have to see. But you know what? It could very well be that game we are really scraping the bottom of the barrel, and that is exactly when we will not see any of the starters for sure. And we're giving the J Rooks and Orlando Robinson the start, and they're playing pretty much the whole entire game. We'll just have to see how it goes. We can't get in as much trouble at the end of the season if we don't play any of our starters then. But yeah, I could see that. I can see that. Let's see. But I don't see them passing us. There's a lot that has to go a certain way for that to happen. And the Raptors are losing tonight. We're going to get another L tonight. Watch. Smooth saying Raptors move to 4 and get the center from Duke. Yeah, that's the plan. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see us get Maluwach. That's right. Common. That's right. Kaz is saying, I hope the lottery gods bless us for not blatantly tanking like the rest of them. Well, that would be great if they do the system they're talking about where after the All-Star break, the teams that are the worst, it's whatever record they have near the end of the season is what lines them up for the draft. That would really fix things as far as people not trying to lose at the end of the season to increase their draft lottery odds. We've talked about that idea on this channel a couple times, is take the team that had the most wins after the All-Star break that's out of the playoffs and give them the first pick. And that way you kind of give a team a chance to but there's still ways to game that, which is tough. It's tough. It's tough to try and figure this out. Reggie saying Toronto is likely losing tonight, closing the door on catching the Spurs. We don't have to be concerned about that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that Blake has already said that the magic number, he's counting it on blue skies, Blake Murphy, the fact that where we'll be locked into the 7th spot exactly. And I think that this is right. A couple more losses by us, and that will negate the Spurs being able to get below us. And he's exactly right here. Let's see. Stargate saying it smooth. Sixers are going to be bad next year as well. Knicks will drop. They're about to be shit show as well. And if they are not successful in the playoffs, Tibbs is gone. Yeah, I could see this happening. I think that the thing we've been crying out about the Knicks the last 2 years, overplaying his starters is going to catch up with them this playoff. And people will see it and they'll blame him for it because they really have had more injuries at the end of the season the last 2 years, right before the playoffs. And it is his fault for overplaying his starters all year. And, this season, some of the Knicks actually vocalized to him that he was playing them too much, including Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart. So, yeah, I could see everything that Stargate's saying here about New York and the shit show that's coming. Yeah, I can see it. Kaloy's here. Good to see Carlo. Morning, Lex and Philip Freaks. Lex, what do you think about the media making a big deal of Scotty playing hurt? Well, I kind of covered it earlier. I'm saying that, you could look at it either way negatively. That's your choice. You want to say Scotty playing hurt is a risk and it's a threat and all this stuff. Yeah, you can look at it negatively, or you could look at it positively. You could look at it negatively or positively, either what he chooses. And well, the media is going to gaslight and they're going to do things to kind of make Raptors fans feel like, oh, they're being stupid with playing him right now. No, we get to watch Scotty play. He's not hurt that bad. He can play. He's fine. And whatever that injury is, it'll heal over the summer when he's taking more rest on it, and he'll be fine for next year. So there's no long term anything about this, unless we find out later there is. But I really trust everybody that they know what they're doing. They're professional, and they wouldn't screw around with Scotty's career. I mean, that would be stupid. So I think it's just, once again, the media trying to pull a thread and just kind of irritate Raptors fans and tell them what they should think, and that they should think, oh, this is bad that Scotty's playing right now hurt. I don't think it's bad. I think it's been very valuable for him to get playing time with his teammates while he can. And he wants to play. Don't tell Scotty not to play. That man loves playing the NBA. It's his life. And in some ways, why is everybody always telling people how to do their lives in certain ways with our Raptors? Seriously, let Scotty make his own decisions with the team in mind, and the team counseling him on the best decisions is what I'm saying. But yeah, I don't get this. I mean, in some ways, the media is going to do what the media is going to do, gaslight and try and lead the Raptors fans into mindsets that aren't totally positive or right, is what I'm saying. And that's up to you if you want to buy the tropes of Michael Grange and his bullshit. That's up to you, Raptors Nation. But I don't listen to it. That's right. I don't listen to it. Let's see. Where else are we here? It jumped ahead. I want to make sure I don't skip any of these. Reggie's saying, even if the Raps win in Brooklyn, they aren't beating Dallas. They aren't beating Dallas. You mean San Antonio? Oh, you mean when we play Dallas, when we get to them? Yeah, that Texas two-step that we're going to do with Dallas and San Antonio, those will be the last two games of the season. Yes, very likely we'll lose to Dallas. And we'll probably, I don't know. We lost to San Antonio when they came to Toronto, right? So it could very well be we lose again to San Antonio on the last game of the season. And none of these worries are mattering. Cass saying, I wouldn't be so sure we're going to lose tonight the way the Raps have been playing the rotations. If Cade plays, Detroit has a good shot to win, though. Nah, we're not going to win tonight because, first of all, we're not going to have Scotty, RJ, and Oshai. I'm going to say that right now. Scotty's not going to play tonight. I'm positive of it. He will not play a back-to-back. Not at this stage, and especially with his hand acting up. And he had such a bad line last night. It's really an easy time to say, yeah, well, Scott's hand, he needs a rest for his game for his hand. And so IQ and Yak. And the other thing is Detroit is playing at a very good level for the most part because they are playing for something. And like I said at the stream, they're tied with the Bucks right now. And if they beat us tonight, they actually switch from playing the Knicks in the first round to the Pacers in the first round. So some of it may be manipulation about which opponent they'd rather prefer. Do you think the Pistons would rather play the Knicks or the Pacers? That's the question you got to ask yourself. But I think they are going to try and win tonight. And I think they will. I really do think they will. Cade is questionable. It's not likely he's going to play, but we'll see. Trevor's saying Dallas Mavericks in the 9th seed, Suns in the 11th in the West now. So I've been wrong. And Kevin Durant has sunk that team. And I've been wrong about them catching up with the Mavericks. And y'all are going to be right, probably. So, yeah, I will have to eat crow for that at some point, I'm sure. Yeah, the Mavericks are in for sure. And it looks like DeMar and Sacramento are more in trouble of falling out one game ahead of Phoenix Suns. And once again, there are 2.5 games ahead of Portland, who's still live. And the Spurs are still alive also, 5.5 games out of the play-in. So, there's still a Western Conference race for the play-in right now over there. And, well, you guys have been more right about Dallas than I thought. And I think part of it is that Anthony Davis is really trying to come back right now. Yeah. Stargate saying Mobo needs a full year with the 905 first. He needs the kind of reps that Chris Boucher had down there. I wouldn't hate this. And this isn't unprecedented. Sometimes guys play a lot of their rookie year, and then they don't play a whole lot the next year because they really are doing a development year in the G League. And Chris Boucher did this. He had a couple years in the league. He wasn't a rookie when he went and won the G League MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. That was like his 3rd year in the league, I think, when he did that. So, I mean, I'm all about this. I think that you're right. And in some ways, because we're going to have so much talent next year, it may very well be that Jonathan's place in the rotation is eaten up and not there, and that 905 is the place where he's going to habitate more next season, and utility as end of rotation kind of guy. Yeah. Smooth saying, remember, there's only 4 games to go. Dallas wants to win out. That last game in San Antonio will be moot, in my opinion. Well, let's just we can prognosticate and try and predict what's going to happen. But once again, every single game we're going to see. Like I was predicting we'd lose last night, and we did. When we played the Bulls, I predicted we'd win that game, but we didn't. The Bulls were way better after a night of playing the Thunder, and they kicked some ass. So it is kind of still hard to kind of totally predict what we're going to do. Like if we beat the Pistons tonight, that will be weird. I totally don't expect it, though. I totally don't. The Pistons are really got a good vibe right now, and they're playing really well together, and like they're really feeling good. Like the vibes in Detroit right now are the best they've been in like 10 years. Longer than that, probably not since Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton. The vibes are finally good in Detroit right now. So let's see. Kaz saying, I hope so. I hope so, Smooth. Kaloy saying, yeah, it might just be a nagging pain, but good enough to play. Yeah, there's no structural damage. Like it's more just like he hits his hand and there's a bruise, or it's just something that every once in a while he hits and it's like, oh man, I hit it again. It could be like a funny bone kind of thing. Like, it just hurts for a second, then it goes away, kind of thing. Kaz is saying Swider shoots 40 to 44% from 3 in the G League. You just can't hit anything in the NBA. And this happens. Part of it is the defenders are faster, bigger, and stronger, and they come at you quicker. You don't have as enough room or time to get the shots off in time like you could in G League. There is a translation to things, and that's why when I judge college players, I don't buy into everything they do on the college level, because the NBA level is a totally different place. And Cole Schwider, as some of the broadcasters have pointed out, he can shoot really good in G League, but he does not have it at this level, unfortunately, right now. But who knows? Maybe a certain team, a certain situation, it will work. Or maybe at some point he clicks and develops a little further, and all of a sudden he can. But to me, he's undersized. And in some ways, he's not getting his shot off confidently enough, fast enough. And people are coming to him and irritating his shot too quickly. And it's too bad. It's just how it is, man. The NBA is hard. The NBA is very, very hard. He reminds you of Joe Wieskamp. Yeah, he reminds me of him too. In fact, he's not as good as Joe Wieskamp. Joe Wieskamp gave a whole level of rebounding and some other stuff other than just the shooting. And Cole's really one-dimensional to me right now. It's the 3-point shooting, and that's it. Jameson's fleshed out his game this season, his rookie year. And Grady, obviously, is not just a 3-point shooter. But right now, in my eyes, Cole Schwider is just a 3-point shooter, because I'm not seeing him contribute to the Raptors on this 10-day contract other than that. Really, not at all. I mean, get some rebounds here and there, too. I'll give him that. Wayne's saying, looking back at Mobo, his errors really irritates him by his facial expression and body language. He cares. Let's give him time and room to modify and improve. Part of it is he probably hears it from Scott. He probably hears it from Scott. I mean, his best friend's probably going to be harder on him. And like when they do the tape, it could be that Jonathan's getting it a little bit harder from Scotty than any of the other rookies would, just because of their personal connection. So, and the other thing is Jonathan does really care about doing a good job and getting better and better and better. He's hard on himself. He definitely is. You're probably right. Probably right. Stargate saying, oh, yes, Trevor, I forgot the Suns. They're a shit show and will be bad next season as well. That's their own front office, their office fault, their front office fault. Yeah, I mean, Kevin's now given a list of teams that he wants to go to this offseason in a trade, and the Spurs are on that list. And I'm in Spurs fan group, and the people in there are very like, yeah, some of them are like, let's get Kevin Durant. And some of them are like, no, we don't need him. He's not going to help us. And I tend to be in that camp. It's like, I really do believe Kevin Durant will not ever win another championship again, because he's going to get in the way of it himself. And part of it is because of his flakiness with injuries here and there. Part of it is that he's just a head case in certain ways, that it's just really difficult to get along with at this point in certain ways, especially with coaches. It's shown that he is not respectful towards his coaches in general in those last couple stops. And I just feel like, he's the problem. And if you add him to your team, don't think that you're adding somebody to help you get a championship. In fact, he's probably a block. Like, you could have a very good team that could win a championship, and you add Kevin Durant, and he will mess you up from getting it. That's the way I look at it right now. But yeah, he leaves, and they'll still have Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, and they don't have a good team. They just don't have a good team, and it is partly Bradley Beal's fault too. It really is. Let's see. Randolph saying, blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. There's enough going on in the world that's designed to place you in the grip of fear. Do not give in to fear. Keep loving. Yeah, we've had some victories this week for the good guys, and that's been great. But yeah, this tariff thing that they laid out yesterday is ridiculous. It's so stupid. Economists are saying this is one of the dumbest things they've ever seen, and that the U.S. is shooting themselves in the foot. It may very well be on purpose, guys. That's the crazy ass thing. They want to plunge the economy into a weird place and make more poor people and have more destitute stuff happening. And that's scary. They put tariffs on almost the whole entire world except for one country, Russia. Well, doesn't that tell you everything you need to know about the allegiances and loyalty that Donald Trump has in this world is to Vladimir Putin? That he will put tariffs on all of our friends and allies to the USA, but not to Russia, the person that has been a usurper and a problem in this world for a long time. They even put tariffs on uninhabited Antarctic islands where only penguins live. Like, why the fuck do you do that? They just blanketly gave tariffs to everybody. So they're idiots. They are idiots. And I appreciate Randolph's blessings. Blessings to the Phillips family, all the Raptor Freak families. Do not give in to fear. In fact, laugh at these idiots because they just put tariffs on Antarctic island that only penguins live on. Like, what is this? This is stupid. All smart economists are saying that this is horrible and it's going to be horrible for the whole entire world. But I think this shit is on purpose. Now, the crazy thing is that the Republicans who control the Senate and the House are actually maybe going to go against Trump on this because they can see the train wreck this is, and they may actually defy him. And this may be a very important, crucial moment in U.S. history to see whether the way that they have the three branches stays true with the balances of power, the checks and balances of power. That Senator Grassley, who's very conservative and very, very much a piece of shit, this is a point where, at a certain point, the corporations see this is bad for business. Trump is bad for business, and we want to stop him. They will get their puppets in the Senate and the House to try and stop him. And that's probably what's going to happen right now. The Senate will vote and they will get rid of the tariffs, and this whole stupid thing will be over, hopefully, because the Republicans reject it. Now, what will happen with that? Will Trump go on a witch hunt after the people that did not go alongside with him and try and clear house? Well, somebody's got to be there. You can't just clear house every single time. And I don't think he can clear house on his Republican people, but he will have more enemies, and they will be from his own party. And he will have grudges, just like that girl on Survivor say. He will hold grudges against everybody who voted against him. And it's going to be, he's going to have a shorter and shorter list of allies. Hopefully, this is what I'm hoping, that the Republican Party, actually kind of the people that were old school politicians that aren't really MAGA, will wake up and say, you're going to destroy the world's economy, and we can't let you do that in good faith because that's not protecting our constituents, the U.S. citizens. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. This is going to be very interesting to see how this goes down. And with the Republican Party will reject Trump and his bullshit because they need to. They very much need to. They really, really do. Let's see. Reggie's saying the stock market is crashing right now. It's really, really bad. Yep. And that's on purpose. And in some ways, once again, this is a tactic by the very, very rich. They make you even poorer. You don't have time to organize, plot, and scheme and figure out how to fight the power if you're just running from 3 different jobs just to make ends meet so that you can keep food on your table and the lights on. That's a ploy by the ultra wealthy. Keep the very, very poor and the masses having to hustle in the hustle game to keep their lives afloat. And they have no energy or time to do anything to try and fight them on their bullshit. So it's very much a strategic thing, guys, just so y'all know what they're doing. Kaloy's saying it's really frustrating. We have major problems in the world. Instead of inching towards a solution to those, the U.S. elected Orange Man and decides to blow it all up. Yeah, he's anti-climate control and trying to fix the climate problems. In fact, he's going to accelerate them with the things that he's doing and shit like that. It's very, very scary time right now. I mean, people are speaking out about Palestine and they're disappearing off the street. And there's just really weird stuff. Like he got a list from Laura Loomer, who's a conspiracy theorist, who's absolute whack job, of people in his National Security Council. And she said, these are people that are disloyal to you, fire them. So there's just a really, really bad stuff. It's being run like a little small Central American like government with a dictator that's really crazy, like a coup. It's really messed up, man. Anyway, Smooth saying the Orange Man wants to move the U.S. back to the 1940s and 50s. Yeah, they said this. And, the Project 2025 had this all lined out, and nobody wanted Project 2025 except for the MAGA, and they're forcing it on everyone. In fact, a lot of the Republicans did not want Project 2025, but they're enacting it. And their vision is to bring us back to before the civil rights movement, before women's rights, and really like making white males dominant in all aspects in really disgusting ways. Rich white males, not just every white male. In some ways, the dumb white males that are poor and racist are buying into, oh, we're going to be great. But now y'all are going to suffer too, motherfuckers, you idiots. So it's like, Trevor's friend who worked in the government 35 years. He voted for Trump. He believed his lies. And now he's fucking unemployed and crying about it like an idiot. So it's just like, this it's scary. We got to fight the power. This is literally what Public Enemy sang about. Fight the power. Fight the powers that be. We got to get back on that tip. Seriously. Stargate saying exactly, Lex. On the download, the Mavs are a better team than the Lakers. It's just health issues with them. Yeah, if they were healthy and they had everybody available, they have a more complete team with Kyrie and Anthony Davis. I'll agree with that. Kaloy saying, but we hang on, I jumped ahead. I want to make sure we have to hold strong and positive. Our ancestors have been through much more than we will. We don't know this. See, Kaloy, I don't want to be a doomsday scary kind of person, but AI is fucked up and drones are fucked up too. And there's all kinds of other stuff that can be very, very dangerous and scary. This is the thing. This is why we got to cut the head off the snake and stop this shit from going any further and faster. Some of the votes this week have been very promising to show, but in some ways that may not be fast enough. There's a lot of damage happening already, and there needs to be revolution. There needs to be people taking the streets like they already are, and there needs to be, like John Lewis said, some good trouble. And we got to do what we got to do. Here in Canada, we got to do our part to stay strong and also not buy into the rhetoric that it's the Americans that are our enemy. It's Trump and the MAGA is our enemy. The conservatives and the right-wing politicians of this world are our enemy. And the people of America are just poor, innocent hostages to a degree. Just like a lot of the people in Russia are poor, innocent hostages of Putin and his dictatorship there. So we can't lose sight of who the real enemy is. It's the billionaires, it's Donald Trump, and it's MAGA and right-wing, far right-wing politicians around the world, not just in America, but here in Canada and also in Europe, that are trying to push us in the direction like they are trying to do down there. So this fight has fronts in different places, and our federal election is one of them. And we need to reject Poilievre very much because he is the version of Trump here. And if you hate Trump and you hate what he's doing right now, well, the Canadian Trump is Pierre Poilievre. And if we fucking vote him in after we've seen what the United States did, we're fucking idiots. So we need to fucking stop Poilievre at all costs, guys, here in Canada with this election at the end of the month. And people that sideline and don't usually vote, well, I will be very disappointed if you sideline again on this one, because this is one you can't afford to. Trust me. This is one you can't afford to. That's right. Stargate saying this sports media in this country has really shown their true colors and who they truly are this season. There's clearly anti-basketball agenda going on, and the Raps losing makes it easier to do it. In some ways, it's so awesome. Our brand is so strong that it grows and it becomes more and more profitable and more valuable, despite all of the negative kind of bullshit that you're describing right here. In some ways, I don't even choose to look at it that way anymore. In some ways, we know this is true, Stargate. There has been forces in the Canadian media and all around in different places that try to hold down the Toronto Raptors and what they're trying to do. But we have been so successful in our 30 years as a franchise that we're triumphant. And in some ways, we're an unstoppable force. Even if we lose our team for some sort of fucked up reason, because the world's gone to shit in World War III, we will always have the legend and the amazingness of what the Toronto Raptors are. They will never take that away from us. So just in case this fucking world degenerates into war and we cannot play NBA games anymore and have the Raptors on the court, we know we did what we needed to do because we got that championship. So we already won, Stargate. We won this battle already. Basketball is more popular in Canada than ever, and they couldn't stop this train, this runaway train. And I'm pissed because I never want to see a day where the Raptors can't play because of fucking war. And I'm just saying, y'all, we need to understand this shit is very possible because of this fucked up situation that's going on politically right now. And that's what I'm saying. We're a canary in the coal mine because we're the only Canadian team in an American league. And the way things are going right now is fucked up. I'm just saying. It's like Deezy saying, is Shed a better point guard than Quickly? Strictly talking initiation of offense and getting easy shots for teammates. I think that Shed is more traditional point guard than Emmanuel Quickly. Emmanuel is a combo guard. And in some ways, his proclivity and his percentage is actually shooting guard over point guard. But he is a standard point guard as he wants to, and is a very suitable point guard. I don't know if you can really gauge them against each other for true point guard skills. I think that the true point guard is Shed, but I think Emmanuel, because he has more experience and in some ways he's more talented, may actually be a better point guard than Shed right now. But come back and talk to me in like 2 or 3 years with more years under Shed's belt in the NBA, and we'll see if that's changed. But yeah, I think that it really serves the Raptors having Emmanuel as a combo guard who leans more towards being a shooting guard, because that goes really well with our whole entire scheme. In some ways, it's like the starting five we were talking about with Brandon, RJ, Scotty, Yak, and IQ. In some ways, IQ is not the most passer guy in that whole lineup as the point guard. You know, Scotty and Yak may be the most top score passers in that lineup, and then maybe IQ and RJ next, and then Brandon. So it's he's an interesting combo guard. And in some ways, he's not the right kind of person to kind of like, it's tough because they're very different flavors. And in some ways, Jamal Shed is a true point guard more than Emmanuel. I will say that. I don't know who's better at what, because Emmanuel, some of it is the work with Jakob. Jakob works really well with both of them. And some of the stuff that Jakob does with Quickly with the pick and roll is really top level, like kind of point guard stuff. So I don't know. That's a tough question. I say in a couple of years, you'll probably see Jamal Shed become a more true point guard at a higher level of point guard stuff. But Emmanuel may be the better player because he's more like Tyrese Maxey, and he's absolutely hooping it up, but also getting dishes here and there too. So Stargate saying Jameson at least plays defense and guards his position. Yes. And he got way better as the season went on. And he got bigger and stronger, and he rebounded more. And he played better defense, too. He was a horrible defender at the beginning of the year. And in some ways, part of the reason why the Raptors have gotten better on defense in the second half of the season is because the rookies figured out defense better as a whole. All of them. Jacoby, Jamal, and Jameson. They all kind of figured out defense better. Stargate saying, no way I would want KD on the Spurs. That would stunt Wemby's growth as a player and set him back. No way. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too. You don't need his attitude around. And in some ways, it's like Kevin put a list out. I think it was like Miami, New York, Milwaukee, San Antonio. Yeah, these are all the teams that he would want to play for that he had on the list. We weren't on that list, thank God. I don't know. I thought at some point he would want to come back here, like since he was kind of like man, Toronto. He would because they were talking about it so much that one summer, but no, we weren't on the list, thank God. Trevor's saying China hit back hard yesterday with 38% on the U.S. The big thing is our Prime Minister, Mark Carney, came out and said that the amazing relationship between Canada and the U.S. is over, that everything that we did with them with trade is done. It's out the window. It's over, and it has been ruined. And that we are going to pivot towards working with UK and the Europe and Asia and other people way more than the U.S. at this point. So it is really damaging and stupid, the things that have been initiated by the White House recently. Really, really dumb and stupid. Really, really, really dumb. Kaloy saying one thing we need to do is keep Canada safe. So vote on April 28th. So no one stay home. Yeah. Yeah. Seriously, y'all. We can't have a low voter percentage. Y'all want to vote for your freedom and your democracy and your country. Stay in Canada. We need to vote in this election at the end of April. And if you're a Canadian not living in Canada right now and you have the ability to vote, get your vote mailed in, Trevor. Anybody who can vote who's actually got Canadian citizenship in other places, get it done ahead of time because it will all help. I'm telling you, we have to stop the right wingers in this country just as much they tried to stop them in the States. They are fucking terrorists and they do not have the rights and the thoughts of everybody being equal in their minds anymore. Seriously. The rhetoric of Trump is the rhetoric of Pierre, and we cannot afford to have the PC government as our prime minister right now. We cannot afford it. G's saying Scotty has to play a certain amount of games to try and make some personal accolades. Exactly. That's exactly why he's played hard all season. I've noticed he did this. There's probably a couple times where he could have gone on the injury list, but he pressed on and played hurt all season, and he's okay for it. Trust me, guys. Stargate saying, yes, the Republicans in general are not all on board with Orange, and some of these old school politicians are very, very powerful. Yeah, and their constituents are the corporations, not even the people. And when the corporations are worried about losing money and profit margins, well, they will correct things. And in some ways, they're actually an ally in this because they will rein in a madman who's doing really fucking crazy shit right now. The corporations don't want to lose money. Do you think these corporations that deal with selling stuff in Canada, losing money right now, are happy with Trump because of the situation that he unnecessarily caused? No, they're not. And in some ways, they will be part of what's the resistance against Trump in an ironic way, honestly, guys. An ironic way, yeah. G saying the top 3 MVP candidates, SGA, pick number 11, Joker, a pick number 41, and Giannis, a pick 15. We do not need a top 4 pick to draft a winner. Boom goes the dynamite. There you go. There you go. Siakam, where was he picked? Anunoby, where was he picked? Jacoby Walter picked at 19. Look at that player we got and how he plays. I'm just saying, we pick with skill is what I'm saying. Neil's saying the only way out for the U.S. is to impeach Dumpy and his cronies, including the GOP leader of Congress. Yeah, they're going to have to clean house, and we need to keep track of every fucked up thing they did, and we need to prosecute them for criminal crimes. You know, the IOC needs to be involved. I mean, the international court, and then Elon Musk probably needs to be banned from being in the United States ever again for the rest of his life. And they've done very criminal shit just in a couple of months already. That stuff that is absolutely breaking federal law. And they think that they're above it. They're so arrogant, and they're doing it in front of everybody and saying, no, you guys won't do anything because we have the power and we'll crush you, is what they're trying to intimidate. Well, you're going to find out possibly that there is some checks and balances in the United States democracy that you're going to run into and fuck you up. And I hope it does. And if it's Republican senators who've been racist jackasses for 80 years and they're still hanging on their job, so be it. Thank you for finally doing something good in your life, Chuck Grassley. Shit like that. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Yeah, Stargate saying, don't worry, Lex. People like Orange usually end up falling on their own sword. You're exactly right, especially when they're not very smart and all listening to people like the racist Nazi Afrikaans speaking South Africans. Yeah, Elon Musk is a racist child born in apartheid, and he loved apartheid, and he wants apartheid back in South Africa. In fact, if he could have his way, he'd have apartheid on this continent for both the United States and Canada. So I'm just saying, man, this is what, like Kaloy said, elbows up, face up. Let's get ready. That's right. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy game day. Let's put yesterday's game behind us. I predict we're playing to win tonight. I don't know if that's true, Fiercely. I know that you are idealistic in this way, like Monique, that you want wins, but I don't see it. I don't see it tonight, especially with some of the worries that we've espoused on this channel about getting too close to the Spurs and flipping from 7 to 8. I think this is going to be one you put in the bank for the Pistons. They are playing for something still, as I pointed out earlier, MJ. They are tied with the Milwaukee Bucks in their record right now, and they could flip from playing either the Knicks or the Pacers. And that they are playing to win right now. And we are not. We are not. We did not play to win last night. And, well, we're not going to play to win tonight. So are you predicting us to win? That's not happening, MJ. And I'm not a bad fan for saying that. I'm just doing what I do on my channel. I'm reading the tea leaves. I'm reading the situation. And I'm calling it like it is. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it for you. We're going to probably lose tonight. just so you know. Fiercely saying, I enjoyed Terrence Ross on the broadcast yesterday. It is nice to see a former Raptor embracing his experience with us. Yeah, such a great parade of former Raptors this whole entire season. I mean, we had Tracy Murray in the house at one point, TJ Ford, Muggsy and JYD, of course. But even guys that hadn't come around very often, like Antonio Davis, came through this year. It's been fantastic. Stargate saying send KD to New York. I agree with that. That's exactly where Kevin Durant should go play. Exactly where. Stargate, you can get a dunk for that one. That's funny. And that's exactly right. I agree with this. We should send Kevin Durant to be on the Knicks. That is fantastic. You got it. 48 for you on the dunk charts. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Kareem's here. I never got a chance to watch the game last night. Did Boucher get burned? No, he did not get to play last night. You know what? I just hope that he gets to say goodbye on the court to the Raptors, just in case this is his last year. And it's looking like it is. Let's go look at the Instagram stories and just see what's going on there. This is going to be a segment that goes away at the end of the month, guys. I'm not going to be doing Instagram stories anymore when I leave Instagram. They got Wubbs doing fancy dribbling on the court. Jacoby Walter has some very good dribbling skills, guys. I'm just going to say that. There he is all fired up wearing his 14 purple. That's right, Jacob. That's right. Jonathan Mobo is saying this on his Instagram, whether therefore ye eat or drink or whatsoever ye do all to the glory of God. At the end of the day, everything you do is to glorify God. I love that. I love that. That's Corinthians 10:31. Yeah, that beautiful man of faith, Jonathan Mobo. In some ways, you know what? He had 6 turnovers last night, but hey, he's giving it up to God. He's going to get better and better as a player, and I believe it too. There he is with a jam from the game last night. Nice, strong, going up at the basket. Him and Orlando have been going at the basket stronger as the year went on. AJ Lawson in an action in a photo here, and there he is jamming it too in the game last night. He's got to love wearing the old Vince Carter purple front black back jerseys. It's just kind of cool and nostalgic. There's Orlando Robinson coming into the fits with his fit in the hallway. And then also there he is shooting before the game there. Toronto Tempo here are very happy because Darko wore a Toronto Tempo hoodie at his pregame press conference last night. He was repping the Toronto Tempo with the hoodie last night. That's fantastic. Also, the Toronto Tempo are going to have a watch party at the NBA Courtside Restaurant this Sunday for the Women's College Championship. So if you want to go down there and watch this stuff with the Tempo team people, like maybe Teresa's going to be there. They're going to have a watch party this Sunday at the NBA Courtside Restaurant on the Queens Quay, where you can it's official Toronto Tempo watch party for the NCAA women's tournament games. So that sounds cool as hell. That sounds like a really cool event. And who knows, you may go down there and you may meet Monica Rogers-Wright, the new GM of the Toronto Tempo. She may be scouting players for the team. You could maybe even go down there and talk to her and say, yeah, I like this girl. We should get her for the Toronto Tempo next year. And she might listen to you. So, yeah, check out the watch party at the NBA Courtside Restaurant this Sunday, y'all. So if you're interested, go down there and hang out with the Tempo, guys. I'm just saying. There's the Raptor. I'm really proud of what the Raptors did last night in the arena. They honored Leo Routens and Paul Jones for their 30 years of covering the Raptors, the whole 30 years of the Raptors' existence, and they put them on blast up on the screen. And you could tell Leo was really touched by this honoring. I mean, the dude has worked so hard and so long for the Raptors over 30 years. He's an original. He's an icon to Raptors fans. And we love you, kid from Kiel. And I hope you felt that love sincerely and deeply in the arena last night when the Raptors put you up on the Jumbotron and put you on blast for your service of 30 years broadcasting for the Raptors. Leo Routens, you're a real one, an original one. We love you, man, and you deserve the affection. And also for Jonesy. They did do Jonesy also. Of course, he was also a 30-year Raptors announcer for the team, and that he got his shine and due also. And that's just beautiful and awesome because these guys are 30-year vets of broadcasting for the Raptors, the whole entire existence of the team. And man, it was so cool. And you could tell Leo and Paul were both very, very touched about getting noted to the crowd. And the crowd was very happy to show their appreciation for those guys. Yeah, so we see the Raptor piling around with Leo when he got his kudos, which was pretty cute. Yeah, and there he is with Jonesy also, bugging him. And Jones has a big, huge smile on his face. That's awesome. I love that so much. I love to see guys like that in our organization getting their just desserts. And I was wondering if they were going to honor Leo at all this season for his accomplishment, but they did. They made sure they did. And that's really, really good. That's really, really good. There's Matt and Jack with the autism awareness shoes on before the game, putting them on blast. I love seeing those guys palling around on Instagram. They're goofy guys, but they're fun. They're fun. And they're going to give away some jerseys, signed jerseys to help with this campaign right here. All the proceeds go to help autistic people in the life of Max, the son of the coach of the Utah Jazz. So, yeah, let's see. Jack Armstrong did some show recently. He's with some people that were with him, working with him in the studio. They're doing a recording. Maybe Jack was singing another Christmas album or something. I don't know. There's Slim Duck, and Slim Duck is saying this on here. These are always the things with Chris. He's got messages coming out from his Instagram stories. When you're a nice guy, but have to remind them you're a savage too. Yikes. Point of view, me always after taking it too far. Also, he's got on his Instagram, let's see. He's got, hang on. Why is it flipping around so weird? Let's see. He's got the guy, he's saying things we did outside that kids will never experience. And it's like sitting out on the green box in the yard, meeting your friend halfway by walking through the neighborhood. Yeah, I remember those things. Like when I was young. I don't know. Kids don't do this stuff. They don't hang out in the yard and sit on the green electricity box. Let's see. He's also got top 10 phrases of getting in trouble growing up Haitian. That's pretty entertaining thing. Yeah, just some nice pictures of him, the Raptors stuff. There he is with the trophy, the Larry O'Brien, reminding everybody this is a man who's got Larry O'Brien a couple times. And yeah, man, Chris, we got to figure this out. I hate what's going on with you. And hopefully things will work out and you'll get to play once again. That would be really good. Lindsey Dunn had a clip come out yesterday of her in the carpool karaoke with Jacoby Walter and Jamal Shed. And Jamal Shed was doing his impersonation of Darko. He's like saying, it's like, heads up, active hands. It's pretty funny. And they also talked about their rookie punishments and like stuff. And it's really interesting. They said that like their vets are very mature and they're grown-up guys and they're not making them do stupid stuff. Like they said they're not doing the Post-its on the car like they did to Fred and Norm. That clip came up recently in the Raptors admin where Patrick Patterson totally screwed up Fred's car with Post-its and saran wrap. And same for Norman. And like, no, they haven't had anything like that. Jamal did disclose that there was one night on the road when they were in the hotel and Chris didn't want to go downstairs. Chris Boucher didn't want to go downstairs to get his DoorDash in the lobby. So he sent Jamal down to get his DoorDash for him. I mean, that's normal rookie kind of stuff. And they also kept track of how many times they've been seen without their rookie bags. And they determined that Jamal had been seen without his rookie bag on the entry pictures 5 times. And Jacoby had been seen without his rookie bag 3 times. But then Jamal divulged that, well, I had the bag with me. It's just it was inside my other bag. But they are keeping track of whether they had their rookie bag or not. And man, such a fun segment. I hope that Lindsey Dunn can do more kind of fun carpool karaoke kind of things with Raptors players in the future. And yeah, it's cool that they're singing songs. And man, those guys can actually sing. Both Jacoby and Jamal have pipes. And they don't sound bad when they're singing songs like that Michael Jackson, Remember the Time. Do you remember the time? Yeah, they were good, man. They were actually good. So there's your Instagram stories right there. Lindsey Dunn riding around with the Raptors. Top grade 8 entertainment. Seriously, I'm just saying, man. Just saying. Yeah, Kaloy saying, Lex, our ancestors went through much, much more than we will ever know. AI may be scary right now, but it needs massive energy, which nuclear can only bring. The power is still with the people. I totally agree with you and stuff like that. It's just that as technology and times change, there are new challenges. And in some ways, that's the dangerous thing that I worry about. And the problem is that the ultra rich, like Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, they're the ones who control the new technology to an extent. And if they're evil men that don't have good intentions for the general population, in some ways, these things can be utilized in very damaging, scary ways. You know, in some ways, the thing that AI can do is it can read a lot of data all at once really fast. And, you know, you don't want like AI getting into personal people's lives in weird, seedy ways. And in some ways, Trump is already utilizing AI for some of the things he's doing with his government. And it's proving to be a big fail. You know, they had AI try and run a McDonald's drive-through and it failed miserably. It was a real big fuck up. Well, in some ways, them trial running AI with the government and decisions they're making in the government is being a big fuck up on a major scale there too. So I get what you're saying, and you're right, but I'm just saying, in some ways, it's like everything in the history. That back in the day, sure, things were tougher because there was like diseases and animals that would eat you, and you didn't have guns for a while, and then you got guns, and then guns were a whole other level of warfare. I'm just saying, there's new levels of warfare at this point, and they're not like the ones that our grandparents fought in the world wars before us. So that's what I'm worried about, Kaloy, is the world has changed, technology has changed, and we're in the new era of AI. And the ramifications of AI have not been totally settled as far as what is possible with it and how it could be utilized in very negative ways towards us. We want to believe that they're going to use this technology for good and helping humanity, but the direction of the leaders in the United States is showing they are not humanistic. And in fact, they're about death and destroying and dying is what they are right now. So the madmen like that in charge of that, well, that's why the people need to stand up and fight them and kick them out, reject them, and say, we want a better future, and we do not want to go in the direction that you're going in right now. That's right. Trevor wants a classic car on the Instagram. We're going to do this. That's right. Wayne's saying, vote yes, but sorry for who? A vote for a right-wing party is a vote to be annexed. That's right. That's right. And that's what I would say. I believe in strategic voting because of the Canadian system of government right now with the voting system. If we had proportional voting, I would say vote your conscience, whether it's Green Party, whether it's the Orange NDP. But in this case, there's only a two-man race. And I won't be voting for Jagmeet Singh, even though I would normally vote Orange, because it's a waste and it will hurt things more for voting for the NDP, the party I'm actually in. So I will coalition with Mark Carney and the Liberals, even though I do not consider myself a liberal, because I know this is the best choice in this situation. And unfortunately, strategic voting is still something that Canadians have to do until we reform our election process to be proportional representation. And then we can get things correct like that. That's what I'm saying. Go Raptors. That's right, DK. That's right. Trevor's saying that, hang on. Lex, I vote in Canada and USA. I'm a liberal in Canada and a Democrat. There you go. I'm proud of you, Trevor J. And just for declaring that, I'm going to give you a dunk. Why not? I love that you just said that, and I appreciate you for that. And I knew you were going to be politically active and do your part, Trevor. I knew you were. In some ways, I'm telling all my friends that are Canadian that live in the United States to make sure they mail in votes. That's right. Mobo, go Blue Jays. There you go. Blue Jays are back, baby. Not a bad fan. Handsome around. That's funny. Lakers lose against the Warriors. Let's go, Walter. Orlando Robinson tonight. Temple tonight. Okay. Stargate saying, I know AI is very concerning. Yes. However, even AI would look at the orange and see he's not beneficial to long or short-term success. Some of the problem with AI is it's not very good. Like, you can ask it questions and it totally gives you wrong information. It's not factual. There's a lot of problems with it right now still. So, yeah, and I do like that Kaloy's saying that it takes a lot of energy to run, and it's not like totally easy to do. Cream saying, I want Boucher to give the thank you speech on our last home game. I do too. I want him to do that, and I want him to be able to play the full game. I just want to get a last goodbye. Darko, that's what we want. We want a last goodbye with Chris. If this is his end of his Raptors career this season, you better damn for sure play him one more time and let him have one more time on the court for the Raptors fans. I'm telling you right now. That's right. That's right. Serena Williams. All right. Cool event. Paul Jones. There you go. DK, I like your style. I like your style. Kareem saying up your butt and around the corner was probably the greatest comeback in the 90s. And that and your mom. Up your butt and around the corner. I didn't remember that. That's funny, man. Your mom. Oh, man. Stargate saying, as soon as Orange's tactics start hitting those multinational corporations' pockets and they start losing money, it won't be long for him. Don't mess with these guys' money. How ironic is that? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in some ways, if you're much of a shit disturber and you mess up the status quo to that point, the status quo will get mad. And as much as some of the stuff he's doing, they really enjoy, like the tax cuts for them. They don't like exactly everything he's doing because the repercussions are very destructive for their bottom lines. Unless they are some of the companies that are getting rewarded from him and they're fully endorsing him. So there's a little bit of both sides, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'm sure, hopefully, sanity will prevail. That would be awesome. Yeah, Tristan's here. That'd be cool, Kareem. Good to see Tristan last night. Really fun hanging out with him and talking after he got off work on the Discord server. And I hope that we'll see more of y'all tonight. I see that a lot of y'all added it. today. And hopefully it'll be a very active chat in there, and we can have a lot of fun watching the Pistons game tonight. Yeah, Trevor's saying, doesn't matter how powerful you are. If the people want you out, they will get you out, and nothing you can do about it. That's what I want to hear, and that's what we're going to have happen. Seriously. All right, let's do that classic card. Trevor asked for it. He got it. Are we doing the college cards still, guys? Did you like the college cards yesterday? We'll do that again, I guess. We'll do 4 of them. I don't know. I don't know if I should do 4. Maybe I'll just do the 1 this time. Let me make sure I'm grabbing them from the right side. Where are they? They were weird, man. Like these cards are like really difficult, these college cards. I think I got one right here. I'm just going to do this one. So, all right, we'll put this. This is not a college card, so we can pull that out. Who is that? That's a cool card. I want to do that one another time, but not right now. All right, here we go. This is going to be today's card. Do we really want to do this card? This card's not that good. You know what? I'm going to go off track. I'm not going to do this card because that card is like nobody, and you guys aren't going to get it, and the name's hard to get to. So I'm not going to try and do it. Let me just grab this one's already. This is a quick one. You guys know this is real fast. If you name, you can see it in the bottom. This is a real quick 50-point card. If you write it in really fast, I'll do another one afterwards. This is not going to be the final card. If you know who this is, 50 points right now. I think we've had this card before, so it should be pretty easy. 50 points if you get this one right now. Full name answer. Somebody should get this right away. It's the first guy who ever scored for the Raptors. That's easy. Come on now. We know who this is. 50 points. Is the drawing that bad, guys? The muscles are pretty good. There you go. Alvin Robertson for Reggie real fast. Yeah, actually, that wasn't his name in the corner. I thought I was covering his name. There you go. There you go. All right, so 50 points for Reggie. And I'm going to give you extra points for yesterday, too, because you were involved in all that. Okay, here we go. This is the card of the day. I don't have the college cards ready because I don't know where they are on the card. Here we go. First card. This was the 50 points. This is the real one. Now, it's not the guy in 32 in the Jazz uniform. It's the guy who's in the Knicks uniform. You know who that player is? You can get the card there. There you go. Yeah, we already did that Alvin Robertson one. I was pretty sure that card was familiar. It was just a duplicate in the box. That's why I wanted to do this one. So if you can tell me who this card is, there you go. Smooth's got it. It's, of course, Kenny Skywalker. Look at that picture of him on the back. That's the cool thing about these Skybox cards. This is original Skybox set. The cards were so cool with the colorful background, taking the picture of them and then putting some sort of design on the back. They just had a nice look to them. These cards were so awesome, this set. And then the nice big picture of him. And he had that cool high top, flat top. It's just amazing hair. And, of course, he was a dunk champion, Kenny Skywalker. So, you know what? I'm going to give you these are easy cards. I'll give you like 100. And I actually didn't add the other cards from yesterday. So I'm going to give you 300 points just today, just for the hell of it, Reggie. So you get that. Let's see. Stargate saying, you see, Lex, it's not a mistake that in 2025, with millions of people in a population, we'll have a bipartisan political system. Still, basically having only 2 main choices. That's not by accident. Oh yeah, I know. I agree with this. You know, and it's weird because the U.S. 2-party system is totally different than the system we have here in Canada. But in some ways, the ends is the same. Like they have the same ends. That they both restrictive, and in some ways, our system with our multiple parties is an illusion. That in some ways, you know, the multiple left-leaning parties of the Liberals, the NDP, the Green, so much split on that side. Now, PPC takes a little bit from the PC, the People's Party, and then there's a new party called the New Blue, apparently, on the con side. But there's not as much splitting on that side of the vote, and they keep a real block for that one. And it's the whole idea of like the first team past the finish line is the problem in Canadian politics. They need proportional representation, much like Germany, because Germany just did their election recently, and it was very successful with allowing people to vote their conscience of who they really wanted to, and then they were actually getting their representation in the final government. What happens in our system here in Canada is a lot of NDP don't matter. A lot of Liberal doesn't matter because it just gets thrown to the side, and we don't actually get represented for our votes. And that's a problem. And I hope that if, you know, hopefully, God willing, Mark Carney wins, that he will honestly, sincerely try and reform the election system here in Canada. to have proportional representation. It's very, very, very important. Very, very, very important. That's right. Very, very important. Yeah. Let's see. Trevor's saying, Lex, you have to do the hard cards. We want to see how much knowledge everyone has. All right. You want me to do this really hard card real quick? I don't know if we're gonna get this one. Seriously, I don't even know how to do the names. So this is part of the problem. So we might be here for a little bit. All right, you can't even see his face or his number or even the team he's on. So come on, man. This is like, all right, I can give you the clue is the first name is a Monty Python movie called The Life of Blank is the first name. That's the first clue. And then the second name, see, the second name's really hard. It's basically if you took the greatest guitarist ever in the history of rock and roll from Seattle, he's from Seattle, and you singularized his last name, you'd have this person's name. So the first name is the Monty Python movie, The Life of Blank is the first name. And then the last name is the second name of the greatest guitarist in the history of rock and roll, according to me, who's from Seattle, Washington. And you taking his last name and you're making it, instead of being pluralized, it's singular. So if you know that, you can help me get this extremely hard classic card that Trevor has implored me to do, because he bought these for me to do on the show, and I want to please him for what he wants the fun to be. So what is it, guys? What is the Monty Python movie that is called The Life of Blank is the first name? And then the last name is the greatest guitarist in my history. Yeah, that's the last name. You got the last name, but what is the first name, Stargate? You got half of it. You're half-assing. In some ways, somebody could seagull you if they know the other answer, and then you'll get this name right here. So what is the name of the movie that Monty Python made that's called The Life of what first name? That will get you the first name. You guys don't know Monty Python, I guess, in some ways. Let's see. The easiest way I could get it to you guys is there's an R&B singer named McKnight. That might tell you exactly what the first name is right there. So yeah, you'll write it in right then. So R&B singer McKnight. What is the first name? Boom, you got it. And that's the last name. He's got the right last name. The singular name is Hendrick. And I'm talking about Jimi Hendrix is the great guitarist from Seattle. Brian Hendrick. There you go. Kaloy's going to get this one. Is Brian Hendrick. Of course, the movie is called The Life of Brian, and it was about biblical times with Graham Chapman and John Cleese and Eric Idle. And yeah, Brian Hendrick. I have no idea who this guy is. We can look at him right now and just see. He went to, he's a free agent. He was born in 1970, and he was on California. It looks like California. He was a California player. But yeah, I don't think this guy made the NBA. So, man, Kaloy, I'm going to give you 300 points for that one. So 300 for you and 300 for Smooth on the classic cards today. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Smooth just looked at the stock market and it's crashing like crazy. Yikes. Yikes and yikes. Stargate saying, by now you would think we would have at least 3 or 4 on the same level and not just 2. But hell, like you said, a reform is needed, and not just locally, but globally. Yeah. Different places are fighting for democracy and freedom and their own battles, like Germany just did, like Wisconsin just did this week. And in some ways, every battle against fascism is important right now. And the one here on April the 28th is just as important. Trust me, it's so important. It is so important. You know, in some ways, I was talking to Stevie Roots about this yesterday, about the election, and I want to make sure he's not falling into a Pierre trap. And I said, basically, Steve, who are you going to vote for? And I didn't tell him who I thought he should vote for. He said, man, Lex, I'm going to vote for Carney because he's an economist, and we need somebody who knows our economy more than ever right now. And that's why I trust in Carney, is because he's an economist, and that's his forte. And in some ways, what we're going to try and do as a country, as trying to cut the ties with the United States and not be so economically tied up with them, we're going to need a guy with the expertise of Mark Carney to be at the helm and guiding it, because he will look out. And the things he's saying on the campaign trail are awesome. He's saying that he wants to lessen the blow for ordinary Canadians in this economic trade war, and that he's going to be doing things and programs to help us get through this hardship. You know, he already got rid of the carbon tax for people. Now that's the difference. It's like the carbon tax on people is been hurting people, but the carbon tax on big companies, well, that's good. And that's what I'm saying. But the personal carbon tax, he got it thrown out the window as soon as he started. So that's really, really good. Yeah, the stock market is dropping like crazy. Dear God. Well, this is the insanity of madmen who bought elections and shouldn't be in any kind of anywhere near power, is what's happening. Yeah, Carlos saying electoral reform is needed and stronger party leaders. Green Party has a young new leader that seems promising, Jonathan Pednault. Okay, that's good information. I mean, I really do ideologically line up with NDP and Green Party way more than the Liberals. But I also understand the best team that has a chance to stop the cons is the Liberals. And that's why, in some ways, begrudgingly, I will vote Liberal. It's not necessarily that I want to. And it's not necessarily that I want to be labeled as a liberal, because in a lot of ways, as much as I left the Democratic Party in the United States when they rejected Bernie Sanders in the 2016 election campaign, I've left the Liberal Party to an extent, but I'm not against Trudeau. I don't hate Trudeau. I think that Trudeau had tough decisions he had to make during the pandemic, and I think he did the right decisions. A lot of people are mad at him for the pandemic, but not me. But it's more in general, I don't like the Liberal Party because much like the Democratic Party in the United States, they're just as bad with the corporations as the Republicans and the PC Party. And I'd much rather have people that aren't being able to be bought, like AOC and Bernie Sanders in the States, like a Jagmeet Singh here in Canada. But you got to make a deal with the devil to an extent and allow somebody who's in the middle, who's not necessarily totally a liberal, he's very, very conservative leaning, like Mark Carney. And then that may actually help Mark in this election by stealing people that won't vote for Pierre because they're conservative. They will vote for Carney because he's a little more palatable because he has a lot of conservative ideologies himself. He's very middle. Biden's the same way when he was president. Everybody say Biden's so left. Biden's so left. No, Biden's centrist right. He is not a leftist, and Mark Carney's the same. And that in some ways is more palatable to conservatives in this country to vote for Mark Carney because he's not a extreme leftist. He lines up with them on a lot of stuff they believe, honestly. Trevor's saying, I heard the plan in Windsor that they make trucks or cars. They're going to walk off the job to protest. You know, that's one of the things we may need to do as masses is mass walk-offs. Now, in the States, I highly encourage this, but up here, not necessarily. Now, if you're here in Canada and you work for an American company, maybe you should consider it. Maybe you should also consider looking for a job with a Canadian company, because honestly, that may be part of the trend with isolationism the U.S. is doing, is that, you know, some of the American businesses up here are going to suffer because people will not support them anymore. And you may want to switch. If you're a fry cook at McDonald's, you might want to go and apply at A&W is what I'm saying, just like what I was saying earlier about the Canadian goods. Stargate saying, I agree at Carlo. We need more choices on the same level. This two main party thing has run its course. Democrats and Republicans, liberals and conservatives, we need at least four. Yeah, I agree. And we need a system where they can be proportional so that if you vote for one of the lesser parties, you still have a level of percentage of representation in parliament, and they have some clout and ability to help direct policy on the percentage that they represent. Because what happens in the system that we have right now is there's a huge part of our population that votes a certain way, and it doesn't matter what we voted, we don't get represented properly. And that's the problem. That's the problem right there. All right, let me do a little rundown, looking around at all my tabs real quick, and we'll probably get out of here soon. Let me see. Blake Murphy's having a bad morning, guys. He ordered tea instead of coffee on an app by mistake this morning, and this is the worst thing that's happened to him since reading muted replies on Scotty Barnes' tweets last night. That's so funny. You're really a little dramatic there, Blake, but hey, I get it, man. You know, I'm a tea guy. I would have been very happy with that. I would have been very, very happy with that. So, yeah, all the writers are writing about Scotty's injury and why is he playing. Doug Smith, Michael Grange, some of them different places. It is what it is. And in some ways, Scotty's going to do what Scotty's going to do. If the team supports him, well, we should too, is what I'm saying. We should too. Let's go see what Raptors Reddit's saying today real quick. They're talking about Scotty's playing through discomfort, important for the big picture. This is the thing I was talking about earlier. A Trailblazers fan came in and posted in Raptors Reddit that he watched the game last night as a Blazers fan, and you watched our broadcast crew. And this is what he said: "You have the best and classiest TV announcing crew in the league. It was by far the most enjoyable away game I have ever watched all season because of your TV crew. They were consistent with their commentary, giving due praise or criticism for both teams, and even gave away the player of the game, an away player of the game, for Shaedon Sharpe. I lost count of the compliments they gave Shaedon Sharpe and Donovan Clingan throughout the game. It was such a pleasure and enjoyable game to watch. I was rooting for you guys to win down the stretch because I would rather have lottery odds than the play-in. So it was a hell of a fun game due to your crew." That's awesome, man. Isn't that cool to hear that, another fan from another fan base watched our crew and they really thought we were like the best crew in the league because of how we handle things. So good job, Matt and Jack and Terrence Ross on that. They've got a Garrett Temple game day suits post on Raptors Reddit, a whole collection of Garrett in his suits if you want to check that out. And yeah, that's it. I don't want to talk about, despite the hand injury, Scotty Barnes has passed OG Scarves and Anunoby to rank 11th on the Raptors all-time scoring leaderboard. There you go. So Scotty moved up, even though he only scored 5 points. He actually passed OG for all-time scoring for the Raptors. That's actually pretty amazing. Think about how many years OG played for our team, and now Scotty's got more points than him already, guys. So that's checking on Raptors Reddit right there. I see that more people have joined our Discord. This is going to be awesome, guys. I'm really excited about this new endeavor on Discord. Hopefully some of the people who weren't on Facebook will be able to be with us on Discord. This is going to be the future of the Raptor Freak family online for me to interact with you guys, because I will be leaving Facebook at the end of April. And you know what? I implore other people to do it. This is another way you can boycott America. Meta is an American company owned by Mark Zuckerberg. And he is just as much of a fuckface as Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. And, well, boycott his company by getting off his site, and they'll see the numbers drop, and the stock of Facebook will drop, and Mark Zuckerberg will start to get ruined a little bit more, like Elon Musk is feeling with his Teslas. So I'm just saying, the power of the people is partly in the power of migration away from supporting businesses. And I've decided I do not support Mark Zuckerberg at this point, and I'm out. I'm out. And y'all may want to make the decision yourself also. And we can have all the same things still on Discord and interact in the same kind of ways there. Just trust me. It's working out really well so far and what I'm seeing as far as the Discord. I put a link in the chat for joining it if you guys want to join our Discord server. So, yeah, let's go on the rundown for the game once again real quick. The Raptors will be sitting tonight. They have updated it. Have they? No, they haven't updated it still. But Scotty should be out tonight. RJ should be out tonight. I'm going to guess that Oshai is going to be out tonight also. Grady Dick, Brandon Ingram, all Shamshay out. But Pirtle and Quickly will return to the lineup. And I'm guessing that the Raptors starting lineup will be Emmanuel Quickly, Jacoby Walter, Jamison Battle, Jonathan Mobo, and Jakob Pirtle starting for the Raptors against the Pistons tonight. The Pistons do have some injuries and different things going on with them too. Beef Stew is suspended and will not be playing for the Pistons tonight from the fight with the Timberwolves. So he will not be in the lineup. Tobias Harris is out. Cade Cunningham is questionable, but it's looking like he's leaning towards being out. And, of course, Jaden Ivey is still out. So I'm going to guess the Pistons starting lineup will be Dennis Schroeder, Tim Hardaway Jr., Osur Thompson, Jalen Duren, and maybe Ronald Holland II or something like that. So, yeah, the Pistons are playing for something. They are tied with Milwaukee in the playoffs right now, and they have to choose between, like, trying to get to a spot against the Knicks or against the Pacers. So they are still playing for something. The ESPN matchup predictors saying we have a 55% chance to win. The refs are in our favor. We're getting our second game of the season with Bill Kennedy. He will be refereeing. He favors the Raptors. The second ref is the Lithuanian ref, Gimitas Petraitis. He favors the Raptors. And John Conley is the third ref. He also favors the Raptors. So we have a very favorable referee crew. The Raptors lost to the Trailblazers last night, got swept in the 2 games that they played them this year. And the Blazers stayed alive in their Western Conference play-in hopes. The 3 stars of the game for me, the Raptors last night were Canadian R.J. Barrett, Canadian A.J. Lawson, and Oshai Abaji were my 3 stars of the game. Y'all, buy Canadian. So shop franchises, fast food franchises that are Canadian. And today's special spotlight is on the old classic A&W. So y'all, A&W is owned by Canadians here in Canada. There are American A&Ws down south that are American, but the companies up here are all Canadian owned. And the parent company is actually UK. So none of the money's filtering up to any Americans in any kind of place. So you can eat at A&W free, clear in your mind that you are not supporting the United States. So A&W is my Canadian straight goods of the day. So go to eat at A&W franchise with a clear conscience that you are not supporting American industry. That's what I got to say about that. All right, y'all. I'm going to get out of here, y'all. I appreciate everybody hanging with me on the YouTube. And now we'll have a new place to hang, and that will be on the Discord. And I'll be there tonight during the game, and you can actually talk to me through the apparatus. We could even be on cam and talk, and I'll be able to show my screen too. So the way it's going to work is during the game, I'll be in there to talk. And if you guys want to talk during the game, if you're in there, I'll talk to you. I'm available. I won't just be in there talking commentary, but if you come in and you want to have a discussion during the game, I'll be in there to talk to you. And then after the game, one of my new segments is going to be watching the highlights of the game on Discord, where you guys can watch it with me and we can actually talk about the game highlights together, where you're on mic also, and we can have a conversation. And it won't just be like my stream where I'm just talking and reading your comments. I'll hear your voice, you'll hear mine. This is what we did last night, Tristan and I. It went really, really well. And I want to do it with more of you guys. It'll be kind of like a grown-up Zazu Spaces on Discord. The Raptor Freak Discord is going to be a fantastic place for post-game to hang out and talk about the game. So we're going to try it out tonight after the Pistons game. Congratulations to Kaz, who's still beating MK right now in his round in the fantasy basketball in our fantasy league. And it looks like Peter is now leading over David in the Saborin brother battle in the other bracket for the championship. Yeah, so check that out. Get your lineup set up. There is a new episode of Kensington Market VIP Club that's posted on this channel, and it's weird, man. It's the Fun with Filters episode I did where I do all kinds of crazy shit with my phone and filters. And it's just goofy, man. If y'all see it, you'll see what it's all about. It's a little crazy. It's a little crazy, y'all. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. And I appreciate everyone supporting the channel and being having a passion for the Raptors like I do. I really do. I really, really do. All right. Let's see. What else are you guys saying since I just finished up there? Let's see. Stargate saying, I agree. We read that one. Stargate saying NDP is not really a three choice, needs more funding to compete with the other two. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In some ways, the proportional government would give us seats according to how many people voted for NDP, and we would have power in the parliament and the government to how many people are actually there. But in some ways, we get cut out, and it's a real scam. A lot of the percentage points go to the cons. The PC government is part of the scam. It's like they eat up and have more of a majority or a mandate, partly because they ignore the proportional representation of what the NDP and other parties are, especially Green Party too. So yeah, Stargate saying funding is a problem. It's all about money, sadly and unfortunately. Yeah, you can tell I'm an NDP guy, right? Let's see. Facebook time, sweep versus Nets. All right, here we go. Sweep the Hornets. Okay, DK. And Neil saying businesses suffer because they are not thinking about how certain advancement and technology will affect the economy. Butterfly effect, automated cashiers, self-service gas stations. Yeah, basic income's going to be important. I mean, unless they don't care and they just want people to die and starve to death, if there's no jobs, the industry and the economy changes, we're going to have to change what the job market is. And new jobs are going to have to be made as jobs are replaced with other things. Or do they care? They just want people to be poor and penniless and just die. I mean, how do they want to do this? Canada does have some leadership that is talking about basic income, and universal basic income would be the basic line. I believe in a ceiling and a floor for income in the world. I believe there should be a ceiling on how much you can earn. I believe if you make $1 billion, you won the video game. The video game shows you the cut scene, the final scene, and you won. And you just got that. Everything you make after that goes back into the public for public good and tax money for services for everybody. And then at the bottom, you have a floor for everyone to have a certain level of income that is sufficient for food and shelter and basic needs. And they're basic needs, not extravagant needs, just the needs everybody needs to be able to have a happy life and be okay and supported. And that's what we should have. We should have a floor of universal basic income where everybody has a house, everybody has food on their table, and everybody's okay. And then there's a cap at the top where people just can't or earn or have a wealth that's exorbitantly crazy. $1 billion should be the cap. There should be no more other than that. You get to that point, you won the video game, and everything that you get after that comes back into the system to be with everybody else. I think that is the system that will work and will help everybody. We need a floor and a ceiling. We need a floor and a ceiling. That's what I got to say right there. Yeah. Yeah. Blackhawk's saying my password is messed up on Discord, but I'll get it fixed. If you have to, get a new account on a new email. If you cannot figure that out, that's what I would say. Kaloy's added the Discord. Awesome. I like this, guys. I like this, guys. Yeah. Hotels are nice. Yeah. Okay. I like that. Fancy championships. Let's go, Vladdy. All right, let's see. Trevor's saying that Windsor plan made the parts for the trucks in the USA. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be different ways that there's going to be like things going like kind of awry because people are standing up for the rights and kind of making good trouble. And that's rightfully what should happen. All right, thanks for watching me. Please join the Discord, guys, and you can be a part of tonight's game with us in there. And I appreciate everybody watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share the YouTube channel also. And I'll be back tomorrow to react to the game with everybody on the stream at the normal time, Rapid Freak time, 9:30 a.m. Saturday morning. Yeah, we'll be going to off-season mode soon enough, and we'll have Thursday Think Tank. And maybe I'll do the Thursday Think Tank through Discord so that we can actually have everybody talk on the show. I don't know. I have to figure out all the ways that it works. The bells and the whistles and the possibilities for Discord are very promising for as far as what we can do. I figured it out. I've unlocked it. And I've actually tinkered around with it, and I kind of understand it at this point. So Lex is doing like what Scotty did a couple years ago in Scotty Barnes Twitch family. We can go in there and react to clips together and actually all see it together because I can share the screen, which is awesome. All right, guys, I love you guys, and I'll be back tomorrow. Let's go, Raptors. I don't expect them to win tonight. In some ways, I don't want them to, honestly, because it is true. We need to stay away from San Antonio. But also at the same time, what is the point? I know, like some people have said, what's the point of trying to win right now? We're all already eliminated from the playoffs. And Detroit has things to play for right now. In some ways, I want to do a solid for JB Bickerstaff and the emerging Detroit Pistons and just kind of roll over and let them get a W tonight because it will help them still. And we don't need this win. And that's where I'm at with this. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Let's go, Raptors. And yeah, the future is so bright. We got to wear shades, and it's going to be fantastic. I totally believe in it, and everything's awesome. Scotty, you want to sit tonight? You sit. You don't want to play? You don't play. You want to play? You play. I don't care. I'm not trying to ask you to do anything from me. I'm not entitled like that. That's right. Let's go, Raptors.